eventually people are going to say, what the hell is going on?
No matter how far you go into the dark, when you flip, you go exactly the same place to the light in our galaxy. Everything. Because everything is in balance. Everything is a polarity.
I think it's just going to get weirder and weirder and weirder, and finally it's going to be so weird that people are going to have to talk about how weird it is.
Happy 30K to me and to us. Welcome, guys. Thank you all for being here. This is a bit of a last-minute planned stream, and I thought, you know, I have to do something special. I know a lot of you guys were requesting a hot tub stream. I feel like that's, you know, more 100K. So I decided to do a hair reveal stream, right? That's almost as exciting as a hot tub stream, right? A hair reveal. There we go. I know a lot of people have been thinking I have reptilian skin under there. Or maybe some even conspiring that I'm actually bald. It's not true. You're just a bunch of tinfoil hat conspiracy theorists. Not true at all. So the hair's in good shape, but the eyebrows are still not. They are still developing into devil horns, but that is next on the agenda. We've got lots of things to you know, tend to. The eyebrows are not a priority, but they will get fixed, I promise. Peter, welcome back as a member. Thank you very much. Princess Frisia with £5 says, huge congratulations, Josh. You're a beautiful human being and you're doing the world a great service. That is very kind. Thank you very much. You're a beautiful human being too. I appreciate the support. So, like I said, the other day, I said we're not going to have any streams for a couple of days because I got some shit to do and still have some shit to do. But it would just be rude. It would absolutely be a bit of a crime to not celebrate 30K. So we've thrown a few things together. This is going to be something where we kind of just flow. I mean, these are my favorite streams, all right? We're just going to be flowing, bouncing off each other. We're going to do some Q&A as well, which is, you know, essentially we can just chat. But we'll do that at the end. We do have a few things that we want to get through. Yep. Yes, I have hair. That is correct. Yeah, I do still have the mullet. You know, it's still a little party up the back here. It's just a bit more business up the front. You know what I'm saying? That's the way we like it. The polarity. You can't have a bit of party without a bit of business, you know? Mish, you've got a devil horn on your brow too. It must be something about being a bit of a weirdo. Because I think, you know, Michael Aquino, he was definitely a weirdo. He was far down that road. Tim Polarity? No. I think Tim Pool is yet to do his hair reveal. I got in early. The cookie with $10. Thank you, Suki, for making 30K possible. Absolutely. I think she has been carrying the channel lately. She has definitely been carrying the channel. And speaking of Suki, a lot of you guys were expressing your concerns to me, and I understand that she was getting fed Scooby snacks, which are obviously like not the healthiest dog snack. And, you know, since Suki has been making money hand over fist, I thought, all right, I'll get you the top shelf snacks. And this is single ingredient. This is literally freeze-dried duck liver. That's all it is. So it's just, there's no preservatives, there's no additives. It's literally just duck liver. And let's just take a look at her right now because she can hear that bag. And she hasn't had one yet. But what I did was, because they're quite big. So I've got the bag here, but I also broke a few of them up just so we can, you know, don't have to feed her a whole liver at a time. But I broke them up in the kitchen, came in here, and she knew she could smell something. And she was very, very interested. Like, I can tell by the way she was acting, she's going to froth these treats. But she hasn't had one yet. So I mean, the cookies thrown in $10. I have said yellow super chats and above qualify for a dog feeding, and it's 30K. Excuse me. So I think it would be rude not to kick the show off without giving her a treat. So this is going to be her first time trying the duck liver, and she is excited to say the least. Suki, what's this? What's this? Yeah, on your bed. On your bed. Sit. We'll make her shake. She really doesn't spend too much time enjoying them. She generally just inhales and then stares awaiting the next one. But she's definitely earned that. She's been putting in the time, been putting in the hard work. It's a hit. I knew it would be. Yep, she's licking her lips. Where's the next one, Dad? Dog handshakes are the best. Yeah, she's a good, she can do a good handshake. Absolutely. She is a very cool pooch. 40K subs, can we see where she is exactly? What do you mean by that? Where she is? She's right here. She's right next to me. Yeah, literally inhaled. Yep. Dogs don't spend time enjoying things, you know, don't take their time, taste it, enjoy it. It's just more. All right. We'll get into the show. I just need to have some of this because my throat is itchy. She is officially the co-host. Some would argue she's a better host. But, you know, that's up for debate. Does your girlfriend believe in aliens like you do? Look, I don't know if I would call Suki my girlfriend. We do cuddle at night, yes, but it's not like that. She's just the co-host. And yes, she believes in aliens. She is far more interested in the postman, though. That's her favorite conspiracy. More Suki, merch with Suki on it. Yes, eventually. Yeah. The merch is basically finalized in terms of the designs. Now it's just a matter of getting it into the shop, creating the shop, and getting it all kind of like just, you know, dot the I's, cross the T's. We're getting there. Obviously, you guys know tomorrow I'm going to be speaking at Astro SA. So if you're from SA or if you're in Adelaide, come down, come hang out. You can listen to me talk shit in real life. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping it's fun. I'm not like, obviously, I want it to just kind of feel like a live stream in person, really. I want it to be fun. Hopefully we'll have a laugh, but we'll also look at some cool stuff as well. Love your work, Josh, doing good things. Thank you, Mr. Magoo. I appreciate that, and I appreciate all your support, guys. Sammy, she was sold to me as an American Staffy Cross, but I have my suspicions that she is a pit bull cross with like a bit of bulldog. Just based on her personality and based on how like her facial structure, I feel like she's definitely a pit bull for sure. My friend just moved to Adelaide, but she can't make it. Bugger. Unlucky. This might be the one and only time I do this. Now, who knows? Who actually knows? I never thought I would do something live like this. Like, you know, this never even entered my mind until I got asked to do it. And at first I was a bit like, that's kind of like weird. I don't know if I like, you know, but you know, I come from a group fitness background. Okay. So I used to teach classes, if you guys know F45, that's what I used to do. So I'm not like uncomfortable or unfamiliar speaking to a room full of people. That was my job for 7 years. So I just thought, why not? But it's kind of got me thinking, you know, like depending how it goes, it actually could be something cool that I maybe try to pursue more. Like, cause you guys know I obviously really like comedy. right? That's why I like to talk a lot of shit and just am sarcastic, because it's fun. It's funny. And I like blending humor with these weird topics because I actually think it makes them more digestible. Because, because it is, it is pretty dark a lot of the time. It is weird, strange. It gets you questioning the world around you, gets you asking some pretty, deep questions about yourself and life and the people around you, that if you don't laugh, you'll cry. I'll cry anyway. I don't know about you guys, but the laughter is like just masking the tears. No, it's because I really do think it makes this stuff more digestible, and it's just fun. Why wouldn't you want to have fun, right? I mean, I definitely still feel like a bit of a kid, and I do believe that growing up is a trap, 100%. I mean, we all have to do it in terms of age and time, but up here, yeah, you don't necessarily have to. As you can probably tell by part 1 of the Stephen Greer disclosure stream, which I got absolutely flamed for. Thanks to you guys, by the way. Okay, so that's... No, I don't just blame you guys, but, kind of was your fault. Because during that stream, I'd been wanting to watch the Stephen Greer disclosure press conference from 2001 for a while, because it's a iconic video in the world of disclosure, right? And so, I put it together, had my plans, we got started, and then everyone in the chat was just way too concerned about people who have really big ears or people who are smacking their lips when they talk. All of these things. And it was hilarious. I mean, I found it funny. So then it's like, as the host, what do you do as the host, right? Do I sit here and start going, stop being silly, stop laughing? Like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. If everyone's laughing and having a good time in the chat, then fuck it. I guess it's one of those streams. You know what I mean? I loved it though. I have personally had a great time. I could sit here and chat shit and laugh with you guys all day. I really could. But, it's funny though as well, because I always notice that like the live chat love it. The live chat are just vibing and talking shit. But as soon as it goes up as just a video, and then like people are watching after the fact and commenting, oh my God, don't have too much fun, please. Darren from Bristol doesn't like fun. D with $10. More snacks, please. Yes, sir. She is waiting patiently. Here you are, Suki. From D. Good girl. She is loving these. She is loving these. Well, they don't have to read the chat. Yeah, I don't think it's that. I mean, it probably is that because your chat is on the screen, so they're kind of forced to. But it's probably also me pissing myself laughing. But yeah, you're right. I think you just got to go with the flow, right? I'm not gonna. If I have 700 people watching me all laughing, talking about Air Force One and Pedro and his green turtle, I'm not gonna start telling people off. Stop having fun. It is what it is. You draw your, the energy you put out is the energy you get back. And I guess I just put out some weirdo humorous energy. But I'm here for it. I love you guys, you little freaks. Jay Varga with $5. So how many subs till we can watch you shave your head on a live stream? Ooh. Maybe we'll put it to a vote. When the 100K comes, whenever that may be, we can either do hot tub stream, and I'll actually do it. Or a head shave. Or maybe, no, you know what? I feel like a head shave could be good to do for maybe like, if we ever do a charity stream. 50K, can we get the OnlyFans? Maybe. It already exists. You just don't have the link. Tanya O'Connor, welcome, you little freak, Tanya. I can just tell you are a weirdo. I can just tell. Thank you and welcome. Appreciate the support. Make sure you check out the members only videos. Maggie M10 with $2. Put in a little vibe sticker. Thank you. The Cookie with $5. Polarity is the only place on YouTube where you can talk about people's wigs and alien orbs. That's right. And that's what's special. That's what's special. We can go from being the immature 14-year-olds at the back of the class to diving deep into esoteric lore of Hermeticism and the occult, right? It's the polarity. That's just what we do here. You've got to be versatile. You've got to be quick. You've got to be ready to jump between wild topics. It's just, you know, you got to be quick. You got to be quick with it. Road to the Mohawk? Nah, don't know if I'd go the Mohawk. I respect it, though. I respect the Mohawk for sure. Only Borbs? Yep. Yep, the only Borbs will be released at 100K. 100K will arrive sooner than you think. Yep, 100K hot tub stream. We'll see. You know, who knows where I'll be at 100K? I don't know if I'll be in this room. I'll tell you that much. Yep. I don't think I'll be in this room. Don't, Josh? No, don't worry, Heather. I'm not actually going to put an OnlyFans account into my YouTube community. I mean, unless it's paying good. I mean, $20, right? Tree with the 15 SGD. Thank you with the little #1 fan sticker. I appreciate that. Very generous of you. Shave the eyebrows. You don't need to pay, that doesn't need to be a milestone. That's like a chore that I have to do before I grow a full Michael Aquino eyebrow. So that's not like, you don't need to donate for that. I'm trying to do that. It's on my list. Don't worry. The Ibiza final boss haircut. Yeah, dude, isn't that guy an icon? The Ibiza final boss. That guy's got gnashes brighter than the light you see when you die. People think you see a white light when you die. You actually just see the Ibiza final boss smiling with like full teeth grin. $2 from Vern Dude showing some love, bro. Thank you, Vern Dude. Appreciate you, man. Thank you very much. Rasta accent by 50K. Maybe. You know, you guys know I do appreciate and like an accent. When I'm in the States next year, I will try and give you no OnlyFans, please, Josh. Relax, guys. Relax. I'm not actually going to do an OnlyFans. I think some of you guys are still just getting used to my sarcasm, and that's okay because it is very subtle and dry, and it takes time. That's okay. It's about as you begin to understand it, you will feel that we are actually becoming closer because you'll get it. You'll get it. Bleak with $1. Thank you, my man. Keep on rocking, bro. Loving that guitar. You're joking, but you might actually meet the Ibiza guy when you die. Maybe. Maybe. What was I saying? I don't know if I finished saying this, but when I'm in America next year, I'm going to be uploading videos on my other channel, Josh Radamas, which is going to eventually be kind of like a lifestyle/travel channel. Still going to talk about weird shit, obviously. You know, we can't escape who we are. But it will be more like weirdo out in the wild type stuff. My plan for that account is actually to do that, to go and do like interesting stuff and just kind of vlog and travel. And like, but what I eventually want to do with Polarity is, you know, I want to go to Machu Picchu. I want to go to Göbekli Tepe. I want to go to Egypt, right? So those things will end up on here. But in between that stuff, I'll still be out and about, exploring, doing cool stuff. And that'll go on Josh Stradamus TV. So you can, if you go to my homepage, you can subscribe to both of those there. But that's going to be a lot of fun. That's a long-term vision. But we're going to get there. We will absolutely get there. If you take a trip to Canada, you best DM me. What part of Canada are you in, Rambro? Because I'm actually... So, you guys know that I've said that I am like low-key nervous about going to the States. Like 5% that I'll get abducted, 1% that the CIA will arrest me, and the rest of it is that I'll maybe just get turned away at the border. And that's not just because of my YouTube channel, it's because of, at least here in Australia, the mainstream news stories are that like the US border have changed their code and they're just turning people away left, right, and center, right? So I was a little bit nervous. So what I'm actually doing is I'm flying into Canada. I'm going to be flying into Vancouver and I'm going to cross the border by bus. And I'm going to come down through like Washington and what else you got up there? Not Seattle, that's the city. Oregon? Look, I'm pretty good with my United States. Or yep, there we go. I had it. Yep. See, I'm not bad. I'm pretty good with my United States. Just don't criticize Israel on any of your platforms. You should be good to enter. Montana, Idaho. Oh man, I would love to go to Wyoming. It's not on my itinerary. But honestly, who knows? Who knows what could happen? I don't have a return flight yet. I should probably get that before I enter, or they probably definitely won't let me come in. I will. Michael, with 5 gifted memberships, you absolute legend, Michael. Thank you very much. I appreciate that a lot. And I hope whoever received one does too. Make sure you say thank you to Michael. Chuck some love hearts up in the chat. And Jay with $5, how many subs till you covertly go and crack open the egg that Jake Barber found? I think that's over 100K. Yeah. If you want me to go dabble in that world, like, you know, I don't even think I would ever have one of those people on my channel. Like, I'm not really interested in that. Personally, like, yeah, I don't think I would ask Lou Elizondo or John Ramirez or Jim Semivan to come on my channel. Not because I don't like them. It's just like, I just don't really trust them. And I'm not saying like everything they say is wrong or even that I disagree with what they're saying. But like, they come from the CIA. So I just like don't want you on my channel. Like nothing personal. But I just don't know what you're saying. I don't know what part of what you're saying is bullshit because I'm positive some of it must be. I'm positive. So, I don't know. I'd rather, I would have someone like Diana Pasolka on though. I would have other people around that space on, but I wouldn't have the CIA people on because they're a little bit spooky. What about Ross? Yeah, I'd have Ross on the channel for sure. For sure. I think that's probably a realistic possibility too. But he is a busy man as well. So, and you know, I've had Ashton Forbes on the channel. You guys know I'm pretty open to those videos being real. Ross isn't, and Ross doesn't like Ashton. So I don't know if like, you know, he would not want to be on my channel because of that. I would like to think he would be a bit more open-minded than that, and I think he is. But yeah, who knows? One day, perhaps, for sure. There's a high fee for CIA interviews. You know, I've actually thought about that, about people who, like, when I first started getting involved in this stuff, I was thinking, like, do you pay people for podcasts? Like, how does this work? I've never paid anyone to come on this channel, and that's never even been discussed. It's always just been like, hey man, do you want to collab? Yeah, sweet. And then you just do it. I don't know if that would be the case with those guys. Maybe. But I've never heard that. Get Michael Aquino on. You know, if he was alive, I would be open to that. I really would. I mean, I don't know if he would. But I would 100%, if I had him on, I would 100% play the clip that I've played so many times of him getting a boner over Heinrich Himmler pulling out his knife and stuff like that. And I would just say like, so can you just explain this clip to me, please, bro? Like, what is this about? And how did you end up getting into that? Rusty has gifted a membership. If you were the lucky person to receive it, make sure you say thank you. And welcome. Enjoy the members-only content. Rogan would boost your account to the stratosphere. Yeah, I'm sure he would. But, you know, Rogan even knowing who I am is a you know, you got to get there first. You got to get there first. But who knows? It could happen. Could happen one day. They have to pay you, Josh? That would be nice. That would be nice. But if someone was paying me, if someone was offering me money to come on the channel, I would be like, nah. Let's get Josh to collab with Asmongold. Now that would be sick. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what we'd talk about, but I feel like I could talk to him for sure. I feel like it would just be two guys talking shit and laughing, which would be great. I would love to do that. But again, getting Asmongold to know who you are, you have to get there first. I mean, I know I've just hit 30K, but, you know, we're still a small fish. We are still a small fish. Absolutely. Collab with Casper. Yep, that would be cool. I like Casper Sight. Has anyone asked you to be a guest on their podcast? I have been a podcast guest, I think twice. Twice, and I've been asked another 2 times, but they just haven't happened. They didn't eventuate. Sorry, one didn't eventuate, and one was more kind of like, if you're ever in this part of the world, come on the podcast. The Angry Astronaut is going to be in Adelaide soon. Yeah, me and him were emailing a long time ago after someone suggested a collab, and I think he just stopped replying. And that happens a lot. And I'm never the type to double message and be like, hey, bro, remember me? Hey, bro, did you forget to reply? I'm not going to do that. If he doesn't reply, he doesn't reply. I don't care. Dan Garden celebrating his 3 months. The CIA would pay you through sponsorship hookups, then make you rely on the money to bend to their will. Yeah, exactly, dude. That's another thing is like, you know, a lot of people, like there are people in this space that obviously have good intentions because you can feel it, right? I'm sure, you know, a lot of you guys are weirdos. So I know you've got we've all got a little bit of that extra something going on, bit of that extra sense, a little bit of ESP in the chat for sure, to varying degrees. But I think a lot of us weirdos can generally tell pretty quickly, even over the internet, even over text. Okay. And I say that because I have a lot of new people entering my Discord every day. And you can usually tell pretty quickly, even through text, what kind of energy someone is bringing. And even more so when they're a content creator and they're making videos. You can tell pretty quickly who is, you know, who's in it for the right reasons. I think Kelly Chase is a great example of that. Kelly Chase, you know, I don't know her story in and out, but I follow her on X, and I really like a lot of the stuff she says. Like, she's just very down to earth, says it how it is, says a lot of the things that probably a lot of us are feeling. She was more on the other side of things at one point. At least she was in and around those circles. I don't know who exactly, but like Yalu Elizondo's. And we're actually going to be talking about him in a moment too. And from what I understand, it began to, you know, things started to happen where she began to realize that like the things she wanted to talk about or the people she wanted to talk about, these people in these circles were kind of like, no, you can't really talk about that. Or like, we don't want you to talk about that. You know, there was a bit of like control going on. And then as she started to push back, it was like, well, you know, you're either in this circle or you're not. And she was kind of like, well, fuck that. Like, I don't want to be in this circle because I'm in it for, you know, actually discovering the truth and trying to figure out what's going on. So fair play to Kelly Chase. I've never, I think we've maybe commented to each other a couple of times on X, but we've never like properly spoke. But I'd 100% have her on. She's a real one. She's a real one for sure. Red and Tooper are real ones. I would love to have them on, but I don't think I could have them on without them putting their camera on. And that's like not some weird thing where I'm like, I want to look at you. Hey, bro, I really want to just look at you. It's not like that at all. It's, I guess it's just like some kind of like channel integrity thing that I have, that like, if I'm going to let someone speak on these topics on my channel, it's kind of just like a rule where like you have to show your face. You know, and it's not like I ever set that as a rule one day. It's just like, I don't think I would feel comfortable with it personally, just in case, you know, you don't know who you're talking to at the end of the day. I mean, Red Panda's been on Jesse Michaels before, way back in the day. So like, you know, I know he's a real person. But I still think, you know, it just makes for a better conversation too. Like if I bring them on the show and it's just me here and then audio of them while they're talking, I'm just going to be here like, what, you know, it's just weird. If I got my camera on, you put your camera on, it's, you know, it's easy. Heidi, celebrating 6 months, you little freak. You're, you know, once you hit the 6 months, there's just no more questions. Like, you're a freak. You're a freak. And I love it. She says, congratulations on 30K. Thank you for all the hard work, good sir. Proud to be a weirdo in this amazing community. Thank you very much. I'm proud to have you here. I'm proud to have built this community. It's actually crazy. You know, the channel has grown so quickly. For me anyway, like for my expectations, it's gone so quickly. To the point, and obviously, you know, we jumped from 20 to 30K like in a couple of weeks, largely due to the Billy Corgan shapeshifter video, which I guess has gone viral, at least for me. JP Super Soldier, yeah, bro. I would have JP on. Oh, no. Sorry. That's my fault. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Sorry. Suki, you're up. Take the reins, girl. I do apologize. I do apologize. Very unprofessional to do on my 30th birthday as well. But it should come back in a sec. So I have a little fan. And it's not Suki. It's I mean an actual desk fan. That needs to be turned on when I run my camera. Fix the focus. And I forgot to turn it on today because I was just too excited. But we're back. Hopefully, it still looks like it's going to overheat, but the fan is on full blast, so we might come out on top. Rogue ET with $20. I mean, that has to be worth a snack. Thank you, Rogue ET. You're supporting every stream. I see it, and it's not taken for granted at all. Thank you, mate. And John Anthony with $2. Rambro with $2 says a segment where you have a couple of weirdos on. I have had this suggested in the past. And I've thought about it. And Suki, this is from Rogue ET. You're a very lucky girl. I just don't know. I don't know. I think it's a bit risky. And honestly, I think I already have a lot of content pillars on my channel. Right? I've got a podcast. I've got live streams. I've got videos where I will deep dive into a random topic. And then I also kind of do like social commentary, right? Like I try, you know, if we get news, I try to make a video just kind of giving you my thoughts on the news and how it all kind of interconnects. So I feel like I do have a lot of different content pillars. And you know, you never know. Like I could, because this is the thing, right, that I feel like a lot of people forget is like, you all know me like pretty well. I'm sure if any of you came up to me in the street, it would be like, Josh. And I would be like, who the fuck are you? Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know who I'm talking to. And don't get me wrong, I love you guys. But I could pull someone in who starts going on some like wild, unhinged rant of something that could get me kicked off YouTube. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's like, it's dangerous. I think it's actually a little bit dangerous. So, you know, you got to be careful. Actually, speaking of, you know, being careful and just going back to the Billy Corgan video, that video's been demonetized. Yep. I'm telling you. Those fucking Khazarians. No, the video has been demonetized though, which sucks. It got demonetized at about 130,000 views. So, you know, I got revenue from it. I did make money from it. But now it's not. It's making like cents on the dollar. It's got ads limited, which is basically like you ain't getting shit. They don't tell you why. I appealed it. They did a manual review and once they manual review it, that means that's it. Which is a shame, especially because it's conveniently, since it's been demonetized, the algorithm has like grabbed it again and just started, you know, I think it's almost over 200k views now. So that video isn't bringing in any money or anything like that. So that's a shame, but it's bringing in new viewers, which is, you know, just as important to me, because the content's going to keep rolling and it's just going to introduce new people to the channel. So, you know, there's a silver lining in everything, but it's also a lesson, right? That I was hesitant to upload that video for two reasons. One, because of NPC backlash, which I've actually had on X the last couple of days. I'll tell you about it. But also, yeah, that like getting strikes on my account, because, you know, at the end of the day, YouTube is a censored platform. This isn't X. You can't say and do certain things on here. And it's not just like lewd like stuff. It's like, can't say certain things. Can't talk about certain things. So, you know, there's that. But you guys, I'm sure pretty much most people in the chat have probably watched that video. I was very like careful with my words and reiterated a few times that, you know, when we were talking about Khazarians, we're not talking about Jewish people, right? We're not talking like lumping what I'm referring to as Khazarians, which what I'm talking about is these people who worship a god called Baal or Moloch, and they do ritualistic sacrifice and abuse of children, and this is like systemic and has been ongoing for a long, long time. Khazarians like may not even be the right word, but that's the word I'm using to refer to these sick fucks, really. And then I had two in a row, actually. I had two NPCs retweet me on X, going like, yep, more anti-Semitism in the UFO community. I was like, oh wow, the bots are identifying themselves now. And I just said something like, you know, it's funny to me because in the things they're retweeting, I was talking about Khazarians. I did not mention the word Jewish at all. Jew wasn't even in there. But they like retweet it going like, oh yeah, more anti-Jewish, anti-Semitism. And I was like, I actually personally find it more anti-Semitic that you are grouping regular innocent Jewish people in with people who pretend to be Jewish and worship Baal and do satanic ritual abuse. Like, if I was Jewish, I would be going to that guy. Fuck you. Like, I'm not, don't put me in with them. Like, do you know what I'm saying? But the bots don't get that. The virtual signaling retards don't understand that. They just see something that they can latch onto and become a white knight and then just start trying to be a fucking hero on social media. And it was a classic too. I replied to the post, and you know, you guys know me. I can cook up a good roast, and I was quite happy with this roast. It wasn't aggressive. I'm never really aggressive, actually. I more prefer to take the, I try to just stick to facts and deliver a bit of intellect, and that's what I did. And it was like a good paragraph, just putting this person in his place. And he just replied with, "You're a disgusting human," and then blocked me. Okay, cool, bro. You didn't actually address anything that I said, but I appreciate it. Thanks for your time. John Anthony, hey Josh, passionately join your channel and weirdo community every 4:30 a.m. Tucson time. Hope you make it to Tucson next year. Thank you, mate. Are you getting up that early just for this, or are you up that early anyway? I appreciate it anyway. And that's definitely a Suki treat. And let me just reiterate, in case anyone who wasn't here at the start, Suki now has new snacks. These are 100% natural. They are duck. This is like freeze-dried duck, pieces of duck liver. One ingredient. No additives, no preservatives. So just calm down. Here you go, darling. Oh, and this bit. Yeah. They're a bit crumbly. Thank you for that. She appreciates it, John. Thank you very much. Mr. T celebrating his 3 months as a weirdo. Happy birthday, young man. Content and weirdo are on point. Thank you very much, sir. Just in case anyone doesn't understand that, it's not actually my birthday. It's just my 30,000th. It's the channel's 30,000th birthday. Does anyone else struggle to say that? Thousandths. I feel like you say 1,000 and then you're just going... It's just a conglomeration of th and s, and it all just gets lost, at least in my mouth. Thousandth. Joshua with $50. That is real money. Thank you. Thank you, bro. And again, another one that is always in here supporting me regularly. I appreciate that, man. That's a big super chat. Thank you very much. Hopefully this helps make up the difference from the loss. I appreciate that. You're obviously referring to the Billy Corgan video. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Go on, Suki. You're very lucky. Exactly, Lucas. Lucas has just spelt it how it is actually said. 1,000. Spraying the microphone. Yeah. Just like the people on X. Just like the virtue signalers on X, when they detect anyone even just talking about Jews, the robot eyes start flashing red. Script engage. Anti-Semite. I cannot think for myself. Absolute retards. Random dude with €5. Stay as you are. It's important for people like us to have a space like this where we can laugh and learn. I appreciate that, random dude. And I definitely intend to. Yeah, a lot of people pushed back on the last stream flaming me for being immature. And, you know, I can't even argue with that because I am immature. But the thing is, though, is like, I can also be very serious. And I think anyone who is always very serious is boring. I don't like to watch people's channels who are always serious. I mean, I love Jesse Michaels. Like, obviously, he's a goat when it comes to knowledge. But I found after a while that I wasn't watching his show as much just because it's just like facts, which is good, but it's like a lot. But recently, like he had that hip hop guy on there recently. Before that, like he had Jay and Kurt Metzger, which was probably one of my favorite podcasts in a long time, because those guys brought this element of like fun and, you know, and yes, Olympus Tape. And those guys actually brought out a different side in Jesse as well. Like I could see Jesse giggling and having a laugh, and I loved that. Like that made me relate to him way more. I was like, I mean, I could always kind of tell Jesse's a bit of a bro, but after those streams, I was just like, yeah, he's one of us. He's one of us. He's just got a little bit more, I think he's got more like pressure on his shoulders to kind of deliver his content in a certain way, which I totally get and respect. Am I a Capricorn? Yes, James Anthony, I am. How could you tell? Is it my incessant impatience for anyone who's not keeping up with my delivery? Because you would be correct. What about a Polarity website? Make your own rules? Well, I'm building my own website. I mean, you know, not from scratch. Settle down, I'm not that good. But I'm building my own website to host the merch store. Because every super chat, everything that comes to me on YouTube, they take 30%. 30%. And even more so, like when it comes to ads, the companies that pay YouTube to put the ads on my and everyone's videos, I see how much the companies pay them and I see how much they pay me. It's usually like 50%, which is crazy. Hey Highs with $10. Suki treats, especially because they're healthy treats now. Yep. Yep. They are. They are very healthy. And she certainly isn't complaining. Nerd alert! Here we are. Say thank you to Heidi. Good girl. Andy Aussie Killick with $2. Bro, I don't know what you have said. I'm reading it. So POS or neg on SM. Bro, you're speaking to me in code. Engaging comments count. Okay. POS, I think, stands for piece of shit. Am I wrong? Piece of shit or negative on the Scarlet Monastery. Sorry, that was a World of Warcraft reference, but that's the only SM abbreviation I can think of. Can you just let me know what you meant in chat? I'll try and catch it. But thank you for the $2, bro. Sorry, I can't break down what you've said. Vern Dude with another $2. I appreciate you being your genuine self. Screw him. Thank you, sir. I won't lie. I won't lie that oh, right. Positive or negative? Sorry. That's on me. Positive or negative on SM? I still don't know what SM. Social media. God damn, this took the whole 400 of us to decode you, Andy. Positive or negative on social media, engaging comments count. I agree. We got there in the end. Point of sales? Yep, it could have been that too. Sorry, I just want to get back to what Vern Dude said. Appreciate you being your genuine self. Screw him. Yeah, I won't lie. Obviously, when you are a creator online, especially someone in my style, where I basically stamp my face and my signature on everything that I do. Because some people don't, right? There are a lot of faceless accounts. There are people who, I guess, just don't show their face as much or don't live stream. I think when you live stream, like, you know, you guys are just getting like the rawest and realest version of me, which isn't perfect, right? Because no one's perfect. And I'm having fun, right? Like, especially when we're laughing about people's rugs and their Werthers and their ears, you know, that shit is funny. I do find that very, very funny. And I have a lot of fun on stream. And I will say, and we can maybe get into this if you guys want to, the last couple of days, honestly, haven't been feeling very good mentally. Which isn't normal. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm an up and down person. I've always been like low-key unstable. But like the last couple of days have actually been kind of rough. I can't really pinpoint why. Just one of those things. So I feel like when you're feeling like that, the thick skin that I believe that I do have, is thinner. It's thinner. So then when I'm on stream having a really good time, laughing with you guys, and then to have like people flaming me for like having fun and like when you're not feeling good and then you do something which makes you feel so much better, like, oh, I'm on stream, I'm having a laugh, hanging out with you guys, and then people attack you for it. I won't lie, it did kind of get to me this last couple of days. That's not why I don't think that's why I was feeling down. It probably did contribute to it, to be fair. But I mean, it's just part of the business, right? That's just, you have to have a thick skin. And I think I generally do. But I'm also human. So, you know, you have days where you don't feel good. You have days where you feel better. It just is what it is. And I think as well, like, you guys probably see that in my streams, right? You know, some days I might be like super high energy and other days I might be a bit more chill. It's just maybe, you know, maybe I'm just not vibing as much that day. I'm still happy, but, you know, it's just the nature of live streaming. You just get like the most raw, authentic version of me. And that's why I like doing it. That's why when early days of Polarity, I started filming all of my videos in one go because I knew I wanted to end up here one day. And that was my practice, to just send it, and that really came from just hating editing. I actually don't mind it as much now. I feel like I've gotten better at it, and just sort of simplified it a little bit more. But I started doing that because I was like, I fucking hate editing. It would take me like a whole day to edit like a Weird Week back in the day, and that's when I had a girlfriend too. So I felt like I was just really stretched between everything. And I was just like, how can I do this and not have to edit? It's like, all right, you just got to nail it all in one go. So off I went. And it all worked out. It all worked out well in the end. Nerd alert! Well done on 30K, bro. Thank you, mate. I appreciate that. And you've been in here a lot recently. Lots of support. I really do appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Monkey Sausage gifted 5 memberships as well. Monkey... a lot of regulars in here showing some love tonight. I really appreciate that. Thank you, and make sure you say thank you to Monkey if you were one of the lucky ones. Remember, you can only receive a membership if you actually enable it, so go to the 3 dots, make sure you're eligible to receive memberships, and let's get some love hearts in the chat, just to spread some love around, because not just for our new people, but also that's why this community is goated. Because everyone is just a vibe. There's no dickheads. There's no heroes. My mods, you know, who at times have been accused of being a little bit Nazi-ish. And they're just doing their job. They're doing their job. They're also not perfect. But they have the right intentions. So, you know, sometimes people get things wrong. But they're here helping me out, doing it off, you know, I don't pay them. They're just doing it for the love of the game. So shout out to the mods. Appreciate you guys helping me every stream, in the Discord as well. But yeah, the whole vibe of the live chat and the Discord is really important to me. It is really important to me. Like if someone comes in Discord and is ruining the vibe, I have no qualms just booting you out quickly. And by the way, that doesn't happen often, but it does happen. It has happened because like, the energy and the vibe of the Discord is like a sacred thing that must be maintained. So if someone's going to disturb it, you're going to get the boot. AGC with $2. Sending good vibes, brother. Have you tried DMT? Wow, that was a sentence with 2 halves. Hope you're good, bro. Ever done DMT? I like it. I like it. No, I haven't. I have not. Sammy Wright says, I love Discord and I had no idea what I was doing. It's awesome. It is a great place. For anyone who doesn't know, I mean, if you're one of the people who has a membership and you don't know what Discord is, I think if you scroll back in the members only videos and look at the second members video I put up, I did a little Discord tutorial. In fact, I should probably just record a standalone one for people to see so they know it's there. But there is a little tutorial there. It's basically like a chat room with various different channels. We can talk about different topics. You can post videos. I can live stream in there, which is how I stream my movies for us to watch, which obviously I go to Blockbuster to obtain a legal VHS copy first. And then I use a VHS converter to digital, and then I stream them legally. because you wouldn't download a car, obviously. Dan Garden with $10. This donation isn't from me. My dog is obsessed with Suki and demanded I donate for a treat. See Discord videos. Well, I can't look right now, Dan, but I definitely will. And thank you to you and your dog. And, you know, for that, if your dog is around, let him know because we're about to go full screen. And the girl is here waiting. And, I mean, you just can't say no to that face. You just can't say no. Legally, yeah, of course. Of course. I'm actually, ever since I've been doing the movie nights, I've been racking up points on my Blockbuster loyalty card. I really do need to stop this sarcasm, though. I mean, I won't. I won't because I can't, because it's literally just who I am. But, like, the other day, do you guys remember the other day when someone said, hey, Josh, you should check out Diana Pasulka? And, like, just off the cuff, I was like, oh, I never heard of her. Because obviously I've covered her about 100 times on the channel, right? I got so many messages from people after that going, bro, I can't believe you haven't heard of Diana Pasulka. You have to check her out. And, like, I love that people want me to, like, see this stuff. But obviously, like, I'm not going to reply to everyone and be like, I'm sorry, I was joking, but it just makes me think like, fuck, I probably shouldn't do that. You know, time and place. Sarcasm's good, but maybe that was probably a bit, maybe even a bit rude. That was maybe a bit rude of me, to be honest, to just kind of brush that person off. I probably should have been a bit more kinder. AGC, $2. If you're ever in Sydney, I've got you, brother. When will I be in Sydney? I don't have any plans to go to Sydney. However, look, I don't want to reveal too much, but because nothing's locked in yet. But like I said, I don't know if I'll be in this room for a whole lot longer. That's all I'll say. Maybe some people know what I'm talking about. Maybe some do, but you'll all definitely find out. That's for sure. You'll all definitely find out. There's one Blockbuster left. It's 5 minutes from Josh's house. Yeah, and it's only being propped up by Polarity movie nights. You can swear at the beginning of episodes and streams without losing money now. Wait, what? You lose money for swearing? Fuck, no wonder I'm not making anything. No wonder YouTube aren't paying me. God damn it. Why didn't someone tell me that? I've always wondered why people don't swear. I thought they were just like good saints, and I'm just an asshole. We are keeping Blockbuster alive. All right, guys, we've been live for an hour just chatting, and I love that. But maybe we should get into a topic. I don't know. What do you guys think? Should we talk about a topic or? Okay, also, before we do, because I literally do just love doing this and talking, and I would be happy to do this, but I know Darren from Bristol will be up my ass in the comments about it. What I'm thinking of doing is doing the shows live on here, and where we'll kind of just, you know, we'll turn on the stream, we'll say hello, we'll basically crack straight into the topics, and we'll, you know, talk about what we need to talk about. And then I think we might do, like, I'll just go live straight away on Polarity 2.0, which is my clips channel. But it's a clips channel, but it's also kind of like just a spam channel. Like, I don't really care what goes on there. Whereas on here, you know, this is obviously my baby. I want it to look good. I want everything to be tidy. You know what I mean? But I don't really care what goes on Polarity 2.0. So I think that could be a cool idea where we can just do, you know, hit the topics, keep Darren from Bristol happy, and then we can just hang out on Polarity 2.0 where it doesn't really matter how long the stream goes for. So in saying that, if you haven't already, the link below in the description for Polarity 2.0, go and subscribe if you haven't already, please. I've been uploading clips from the live streams on there at the moment, which I'll continue to do, but I would also love to do some live streams over there as well, where there's just like no pressure to get a move on. You know what I'm saying? Matt Disney, congratulations on 30K, brother. I love this community and the Discord. Your mods are amazing and you are killing it. I have noticed something has been up and how some people crash the party. Check your DMs, brother. What DMs am I looking for? What app? They're all pretty full. I might have to go digging for you, but I will. Just let me know. And thank you for the $20. Very generous. Suki's very happy too. I need to break these up into smaller pieces. Good girl. UAP Gerb does some awesome work. Yeah, he does. Speaking of UAP Gerb, he got... I just read your super chat as my thoughts, toxic fart. Get out of my head, sir. Get your toxic farts out of my head. And yes, I do have hair. I thought for 30K, why don't we do a hair reveal stream? People were asking for the hot tub stream, but I think that's 100K for sure. We can hot tub at 100K. I'll get the rubber duck out, the rubber ducky. I'll get the floaties. Suki doesn't like water, so she probably won't come in, but yeah, it'll be a good one. Yes, UAP Gerb on Danny Jones was a fantastic podcast. I don't have any clips to show you, unfortunately, but I did watch it last night when I was meant to be asleep, and I wasn't, and that's why I woke up at 11 a.m. and felt like a piece of shit this morning. But, yep, that's what happened. Thank you, Ryan, for subscribing to Polarity 2.0. Appreciate it. Yeah, I think, when you're in this space, it is good to diversify as well, because you never know when the CIA will just guillotine your channel. Hot tub stream with Coulthard. Now, that could be something. It might take him back to his Esalen days when everyone was naked summoning orbs in the hot tub. I mean, we'll have clothes on. But maybe some orbs will come too. Josh, I posted in your Discord a quick reel. Something's up with the sun. Check it out. I'll try and take a look. I won't look now because I'm live. But I'll be honest, as we're growing, not only do people post stuff regularly in the Discord for me to look at, but people email me stuff, people send me stuff on TikTok, people send me stuff on Instagram. I used to sometimes try and see what I could watch, but there's just so much now that I'm like, I can't decide what to watch, so I just don't watch anything. I'm sorry. It's not because I don't want to watch your videos. It's like, I just don't have time. I feel like, well, at least this week, that's why I haven't been doing the streams. It's just been hectic. It's been a hectic week. But it's honestly like a luck thing. Sometimes if someone just posts something and tags me and I happen to be on the computer just chilling, I'll generally watch it. But when I like wake up in the morning, especially because a lot of my audience is American, and I wake up to like 30 emails, 40 Discord pings, 20 Instagram messages. Sometimes I'm just like, I can't do this. I'm not built for that. I'm disorganized as fuck, and I'm not exaggerating. We all have our strengths and our weaknesses. I feel like my strength is like, having fun. I'm good at having fun and entertaining and just, having a good time. What I'm not good at is being organized. I'm really not good at being organized. That's like a flaw that I really wish I was better at. It's actually something that frustrates me because it like, okay, let's get a little bit deep. Let's get a little bit deep before we get into the show. I did say I've been feeling shit the last couple of days. When you have ADHD, which most of you guys know that I have because I've talked about it a bit, it can be like a superpower. But it's superpower when you're creating or you're trying to like come up with theories or trying to like do some abstract thinking or just trying to like push your mind to like boundary to its limits with whatever you're doing. If that's like intentional, you're on. You'll probably outpace and outclass most normies. But the thing is, when you finish that task and now it's like dinner time or just time to relax, that doesn't stop. There's no off switch. Now, if, maybe I'm feeling a little bit down for whatever reason, I'm questioning, why would I feel so down? And then I'm questioning, like, why am I questioning why I'm down? And then all of a sudden you're like spiraling down into this hole of like, you know what I mean? Like, that's just what it's like. Wherever your mind is focused, creative, good, bad, you're going 100 kilometers an hour. You like, that's just it, how it is, unfortunately. I am the epitome of ADHD. That's why I sharpen knives. Okay. All right. You got it covered, Josh. You were talking about medication the other day. Now I understand. Yes. So a while ago, I spoke about how I'd stopped taking it because I got to a point where I was like, because I was like late diagnosed. I was diagnosed like when I was 32, a year ago. But I'd always known that my mind was way different to other people. Like, I think it was just obvious. It was very obvious that like I would talk to other people or I would listen to them speak to me, and I would just be like, bro, I understood what you're trying to tell me like so long ago. Please hurry it up. Respectfully. I mean, I wouldn't say that, but in my head, I'm just going, yep, I understand what you're saying. Please continue, hurry up. But I would never say that because that's rude. But that's what it's like. It's quite clearly that like my brain is like operating on a different level. And I don't mean that in less a superior way, because like I just said, it's quite fucking annoying sometimes as well, because you just overthink shit. But yeah, anyway, I stopped taking them because it just got too much for me. And it was good for like a couple weeks where it felt like things just kind of mellowed down and relaxed a little bit. But then it's like it got back to the point where when I was like, I need medication. Like, this is why it got back to the point where I was like, this is why I got medication. That's right. So now I try to use it more like a tool rather than a daily supplement, if that makes sense. Happy 30K mullet. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Diagnosed 35 years ago, stopped Ritalin 25 years ago. And how's that going for you, Tony? You just raw dogging it? You raw dogging life now? That's how you feel when your mum is talking to you, Jess? Yeah. When you have ADHD, listening to someone who doesn't have ADHD is like trying to show your over 90-year-old grandpa how to do a post on Facebook on his phone. And the text is size 480, and he still just keeps getting confused. And it's just like, it's okay. He doesn't understand. It's not his fault. Just be patient. It's okay. That's what it's like. Not all the time, to be fair, but a lot of the time. Polarity, sorry if I missed it. Did you do a video on the second video Dr. Reed made with the bracelet? Seemed like he was forced to make a discredit the first one. Yeah, it's a really interesting one, Himothy. And yes, I did do a video on it. It should be linked in the description of the first one. Or even if you just go back through my videos, it's probably the next video uploaded. And yeah, it is on the link, and I show that clip. And yeah, it's a weird one, because I gotta say, and I know, I know the Dorito spitting retards on X. Sorry, that's probably a little bit intense, but you know those people on X. People love to scream that is a fake case, and they usually cite that video as why. And I totally get that. Like, that video is super sus. But up until that point, that is a very interesting case. And I had heard the story first, and I was like, okay, this is an interesting case, but a lot of people say it's been debunked, like everything. But it wasn't until I actually saw his interview and him telling the story. When I saw that, I was like, I believe this guy. I believe him. Because this is just too wild to make up. And like, the way that someone made this point on the video, the way that he's hyperventilating in the forest footage, if anyone breathed like that for that long when their body didn't actually need that amount of oxygen, would pass out. Now, obviously, you know, we don't like, there's no threshold of like, oh, you've passed a threshold to pass out now. Goodbye. Obviously, you know, it's, who knows, but it's a very good point. Like, if you go back and watch the footage, or if you go and watch my episode on it, he is like heaving, like bottom to the top of the lungs hard constantly, and like making weird noises too. I fully think that if he was faking that, that would be so hard to maintain for how long that he did it. It's a very interesting case, but that whole thing with the link bracelet, yeah, that is that's a strange one, because the audio track sounds overlaid. It just feels so weird. It does feel so weird. Let me catch up on a couple of super chats here. Toxic Fart with $2 said he's got hair. Yes, welcome to the 30K hair reveal stream, sir. Matt Disney with $5 says it was Discord. Not sure if you saw the messages in chat. Give Suki a crumb for this. Lol. Yes, so I generally don't check my Discord DMs. I generally don't, just because they're quite full. I don't accept friend requests on Discord either. But yeah, I will try to have a look. Thank you, bro. I appreciate that. And Marjorie Keek says your brain has brought all of us together there, fella. It's a good one. Congratulations on 30K. Thank you very much, Marjorie. Yes. Yep, look, I agree. I think my brain is a good one. Yep, it has served me well. But it's just learning how to switch it off. Look, we're over an hour in, but, you know, I'm really enjoying these kind of talks, so we'll keep going. You know, I think maybe why I've been a little bit flat the last couple of days is because I feel like, you know, you pretty much say your whole life, my whole life, but especially since starting this YouTube channel, especially because of like the nature of how it started, I've been like working hard, bro. Like, I really have. And I'm not saying that for sympathy. I love it. No one's forcing me to do this. Do you know what I mean? Like, I do it because I love it. But I've been working hard. Suki doesn't do shit except eat snacks and beg to be walked. Like, she doesn't make the thumbnails. I wish she would, but no, like, everything that is done is me. And it takes a lot of time. And I think when you stop, when you're working so hard constantly, when you stop, I think all these, you know, things and emotions that have probably been there, but you just haven't given them a chance to surface or be processed, that's when they come up. And yeah, so, you know, I've been working hard because I want to grow this channel and I love doing this. And I love creating. But when you stop, it's like all the shit that's been going on outside of YouTube that you've maybe not given the time to process, it all comes up. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing, I think. Like, you have to, I think it's like, it's probably necessary to be processed and deal with. But yeah, I think that's probably got a lot to do with why I've been a bit flat the last couple of days, because there are things that I'm probably still just kind of dealing with and working through at the moment. But I have to say that when I'm here doing this with you guys, like, this is like me at my happiest, 100%. Like, I genuinely love doing this. Voyager with $3. We appreciate all your hard work, bro. Thank you. I really do appreciate that a lot. It's, I think I said this earlier, that like, I never expected the channel to grow this quickly. And it wasn't even that long ago that I said to someone that, like, if it started to grow any quicker, it might even be too much for me. It even sometimes feels like that for me now. Like, I'm just like this is a lot. This is a lot for me. Again, not because I don't like it. It's just like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's just very intense. It's in a good way. It's like an intense feeling in a good way that, am I dealing with a breakup? Yeah, that's probably got parts to do with it. Yeah, definitely. Yep. It's not just that. It's not just that though. But yeah, that is something that happened recently. Alec R with $1. Thank you very much, Alec. Didn't leave a message, but I appreciate you. You got this. We'll help if we can. You guys do help. You guys do help. Like I said, this is like my happy place. Oh, Conrad says, "Oi, good hairline. Wondering what was under the hat." You reckon, bro? The grays of, like, when you turn 33, that's when the grays come and start abducting your hairline. You think this hairline's good, bro? This is damage control. I'm in damage control. The grays have been fucking pestering me for my hairline for probably about a year now. But if you guys keep feeding Suki this way, I'll end up funding myself a trip to Turkey. I'll take care of the hairline and I'll get a pair of Nashes like the Ibiza final boss. I won't even need these lights. I'll just open my mouth. And it'll be beaming with a hairline down here. 33 is always an issue. Yep. A wise man once said nobody likes you when you're 23. But I think the lyrics should have been you lose your hairline at 33. Josh, get on the finasteride or the dudastride to save your hair. Fuck, bro, I don't think it's that bad, is it? Surely I don't need the... surely it's not that bad, is it? Far out. Bro's recommended me steroid creams and shit. Holy... you're gonna make me put the beanie back on, bro. Your hair is fine, Josh. You're basically the Ibiza king. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I'm gonna rock up with that Lego haircut next stream. Rusty says, you and Suki are great company with $2. Thank you, mate. You're all the best company. You are all great company. I love it. Polarity, understand that you are receiving dopamine hits from doing what you love and having success doing it. Make sure to take time to yourself and the important things. IRL. Yeah, 100%. I agree. And, you know, when you're researching this stuff, especially what we've been getting into lately, I won't lie, the satanic ritual abuse stuff was like, I guess it took a toll on me. Not that I'm like, you know, wounded from it or anything like that. But when you look at that stuff, and I know I'm sure I speak for a lot of you, when you look at that stuff and you know that it's real, like when you actually look at it and you see how it connects to Epstein and all of this weird shit, which we don't need to go into it. We've talked about it enough. When you start to actually realize that that is real, that's our reality, that's happening. For someone like me who feels a lot, like I feel deeply in every way, like I feel like I love deeply, I get hurt deeply, like I'm a sensitive person, 100%. I am. With like some things, right? That was hard. Enough of that for a while. Yeah, absolutely. I don't feel the need to keep going down there. I respect the people that can and that really like fight that fight on the front line. But that's heavy. That's really sad. It's hard to... Yeah, especially for someone like me as well, because I feel like I've always naturally been a bit of a... I don't know if like I've always been like, you know, grew up, I was into like punk rock, emo music. I was very fuck the system from an early age, and I always have been, I still am. So, and I've always felt almost like a responsibility. Yes, Lammy, I am an INFP. I've always felt in a way, like, I don't know why I've felt in a way that it's like my responsibility to like fight that fight. when it's not, like, it's not my responsibility to do that, which I need to, like, be okay with. But I think because I, like, do passionately, like, have a dislike for, you know, the way things are, when I see those things that we looked at, like the satanic ritual abuse, there's, like, this thing in me that, like, wants to fix it. Like, and I feel like I've got a platform. I need to talk about this. I need to spread awareness. Like, I have to do this. But, like, it's so heavy and dark. It really is. It's like it weighs on you for sure. And then, so yeah, and then I think you're going into dark topics. You're like, okay, I need to have some time off. I just, some time to myself. I've recently got back into playing guitar, which has been so good. I've really been enjoying that. I used to play guitar a lot when I was younger. But yeah, I would do that and find that all of these sort of like emotions that I probably haven't given myself enough of a chance to process and deal with kind of come up. So I kind of go through like these waves at the moment, but I don't actually think there's anything wrong with that. I think that is just like the natural order of how things go. Things take time to process. Things take time to heal. I think it's just the way that it goes. And I think as well, like when you come out of a relationship and like you lose someone who is like, 50% of your being and your life, and you exchange your energy with them, you're in this period of like, you kind of have to rebuild yourself, like, because 50% of you has just gone. So you're kind of in this slow process of like rebuilding yourself in a way, a new identity, which isn't a bad thing. It's a good thing. It's an exciting thing, but it just takes time, and there's no way to skip the the pain and the feelings. You just got to go through it all. Been there, bro. Yep. I've been here before too. And that's why I know it's all going to be okay. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't the end of the world. We've all had girlfriends, and we've all had problems in our lives. So don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting here going like, it's all over. No one will ever love me again. It's of course I will. It's just life. This is where I'm at right now, and we'll get there in the end. Let's catch up on some super chats. MIB with $2. Can you go over your tattoos? All right, I'll do that. I'll do that after I read these ones. Oh, you and Suki are great company. I think, right, sorry, I missed MIB, but I'll still get back to that. Complazarts with €2 says, parasites in science bumhole, ain't no wormhole. I see what you're getting at there. I like it. I do like it. And M celebrating her 6 months. Emily, once you hit the 6 month mark, there are no more arguments. You're a freak. You're an absolute little weirdo. Congratulations. Enjoy the trim on your badge. That's when you're one of the real ones. She says, congratulations, Josh. Was never interested in UAP until I came across your TikTok. Now I'm a weirdo. Wow. Would you look at that? We're converting the masses. And this is actually, I love that, M. So thank you. Because when I started this channel, from the very first video, I didn't want to be like the UFO community. I hate that word. The UFO. I don't make my videos for the UFO community. Like there's already plenty of people doing that. I don't even include myself in the UFO community. I don't want to be in the UFO community. In fact, I think it's a shit community because everyone just seems to argue with each other rather than trying to like come together on the common goal of disclosure. I like to sit on the outside and just look in at the UFO community and talk about it. And another weird shit too. Like this isn't even just a UFO channel. My goal was to always take all of these weird topics, UFOs just being one of them, and try and make them appeal to a wider regular audience, which is ironic considering we all call ourselves weirdos. But my goal really was to bring this stuff to like the masses in a way, to try and show people that like, do you guys realize that there are people high up in the military saying a non-human intelligence has been interacting with us for a long time. Like, do you guys know that? Do you care? Or do you just want to watch Love Island? Because I'm a bit confused at what the hell is going on. Toxic Fart with $5 got to 30K because people want to hear him say, Jake Barber. Is that bloody Jake Barber in his helicopter? So I'm turning that on so much. If I was to say it normally, it would be Jake Barber. But Jake Barber sounds a lot funnier. Jake Barber in his bloody helicopter. Weird is the new normal. Absolutely, it's the new cool. I would say that 100%. In his do more voices. I'm down for voices. You guys know I like doing accents and stuff, so we can do accents if that's what you guys want to do. I can hear your Aussie accent now, Josh. I mean, you can always hear it, right? Surely. Although people do say that I don't necessarily have much of an accent, which like is kind of weird. Like I must have some accent. But I have lived in 2 different states for like majority of my life has been split between 2 different states. And those states have very contrasting accents. So mine probably is some kind of blend. Some kind of weird blend. Wait, you're Aussie? No, I'm Canadian. That was nearly a catastrophe. Josh, party at your place when you reach 50K? Maybe. Maybe this won't even be my place at 50K. All right. An hour and a half in. Should we do a story or? Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. We can keep chatting shit along the way. So here we've got a video about Jake Barber. No, it's not really. It's Ross Coulthart. Actually, no. First, let's look at this one. Lou Elizondo. So this popped up on Reddit, okay? This is a statement from you can see there, the 3rd of May. And it's interesting given what's happening at the moment with the 3-Eye Atlas story, okay? This is from Lou Elizondo. Now, apparently Lou Elizondo has said publicly that he doesn't have a Facebook account, but other people in those circles, their Facebook account is like connected, friends with, or follows this account. So make of that what you will. But given the 3-Eye Atlas thing, someone has dug this up from the 3rd of May, and I'll read it to you, and then we can talk about it. So Lou Elizondo's statement on the 3rd of May. While many are now distracting themselves and others over what they perceive as a lapse in judgment, rushing to question credibility and sling accusations, it was clearly stated from the outset that the image in question was not vetted. The disclaimer matters. When someone acts from a place of empathy, solidarity, and brotherhood, sharing something in good faith from a source in hopes of answering the public's relentless demand for imagery, that is human. We should be able to discuss these topics openly and study images together without the usual stress, theatrics, or finger pointing. I agree with that. And if it turns out the image wasn't what we thought, too bad, we should be able to shrug it off and move forward. I agree with that too. The only thing is, it's like when you're Lou Elizondo, I think you need to realize that like people hold you or held you to a different standard to just like anyone else in ufology. You came out kind of like the guy, and people naturally expect more. Anyway, let's keep going. Frankly, the way some people react with self-righteous aggression suggests they are not ready for the truth. Maybe they don't even deserve it. Don't know if you have the right to say that, but okay. And I think this is where it gets interesting. While many are busy arguing and expressing dissatisfaction over images, always destined to be debunked and doubted into oblivion anyway, even quite ironically, as many demanded, if they came from the Pentagon with open arms, the very organization that resists doing so and manipulates public perception, just know this. Wait, hang on a sec. Is this even the... Okay, yeah. Sorry, it's the next bit. To those who think they've won against disclosure and are doing victory laps or sipping champagne, consider this your wake-up call. Here we go. Right now, as you run around unaware of what's looming overhead, metaphorically speaking, there's an asteroid of truth, 10 miles wide, on a direct collision course with Earth. No amount of mistakes, perceived loss of credibility, or disbelief will make it go away. And those who mock, discredit, distract, and make a career of endless doubt, the true disinformation agents, you're standing at ground zero. And then he linked Göbekli Tepe and the prophecy of Pillar 43, which is a Y-Files video on that. So I just thought that was kind of interesting, like really just that couple of sentences there for him to say right now, you have no idea. And then he goes, metaphorically speaking, an asteroid of truth 10 miles wide, which is an interesting detail, I guess, considering it's just a metaphor, on a direct collision course with Earth. No amount of mistakes or perceived loss of credibility or disbelief will make it go away. What do you guys think about that? What do you guys think about that? Pillar 43 is associated with asteroid impact at Göbekli Tepe. So what do you think Lou's referencing there by referencing that? What do you think he thinks is coming? Get jabbed, people. It will protect you from falling rocks. Yes, very good. Guys, if you haven't got your 12th COVID booster yet, make sure you do. We want to make sure that the nanotechnology is just firmly, deeply gripping your central nervous system, just to make sure that you can be manipulated. I wonder if sorry, that was just going to be an absolutely unhinged conspiracy theory that has no basis in anything. Any of them saying we don't deserve the truth really pisses me off. Who the F are you to say that, or anyone else for that matter? Yeah, 100%. 100%. I'm so late. Congratulations, Josh. Thank you, Arctic. Thank you for being here. Well, there is one now 12 miles wide headed into our system. So that is wild. When was this said? This was said on the 3rd of May. And that's why people have dug it up and are finding it interesting. I didn't go over my tats. No, I didn't. Okay, we'll do that now. We can do that quickly. And then we'll come back and look at Jake Barber. Well, look, I've got a few on my stomach and stuff. We can maybe leave those out. We'll save them for the hot tub stream. You know, got to leave you guys a little something. I'm actually getting tattooed tomorrow as well, actually. I'm getting a bit more done just here. And I'm getting the other side of my leg done. Okay, where do we start? I have some barbed wire here. By the way, none of my tattoos are this one was for my grandfather. No, I just like art, okay? Actually. No, none of them have a meaning. I just like the art. I might get some meaningful ones one day, but no. So, yeah, I am getting tattooed before my talk. Yeah, all day, actually. I think I'll be fine, though. It's not in a rough spot. I think I'll be fine. I'm sure once I'm standing in front of 200 people or however many people it is, I'm sure I'll wake up a little bit. Okay, barbed wire here on the wrist. Got that one in Bali. These two on the sides of my hands. These were my first ever tattoos, actually, when I was 18 years old. This one says pride. This one says passion. No, it's not gay pride. This was before that became a thing. This was before rainbow flags were being flown around, okay? I will say that I don't really resonate with this anymore. If I had one tattoo that I was going to remove, it would be this, purely because I don't resonate with that word anymore. But I'm not going to do that. I actually see it as part of my story. So it's kind of this is the scrapbook of my life. So we got those on my sleeve here, which isn't finished. I need to... I've gotten so many more tattoos since I haven't finished this. As I'm even ADHD as fuck with my tattoos. But so you can see there, it's an I don't know if you guys can hear me. It's an Anubis, which this is a sick tattoo. I really want to get this finished because it's going to look It's gonna look so dope when it's done. You can. Oh, sorry, I keep fucking with my light. Oh my god. There we go. So you can see an Anubis and like. Okay, I'll show you closely because this is the sickest part of my tattoo, just up here, but it's very faint because it's not finished. It's UFOs hovering over the pyramids, and the tips of the pyramids are like lifting up into the air. Yeah. When I finally get it fixed, that is my favorite tattoo. That is my favorite tattoo. Someone said, have you got a koala on your leg? Matt Disney, no, I don't have a koala bear on my leg, but I do have a bear on my leg, so that's kind of weird. I can't really, I'm wearing pants right now, so the only way to show you would be to pull my pants down. I don't know if I want to do that. Maybe at 50K, maybe at 50K, I'll pull my pants down. I've got an eagle on my shin. I have a big dagger down the side of my calf that says, "Fear cuts deeper than swords," which is a quote from Arya Stark in Game of Thrones. I've got like a little snaky rose thing on my calf. I know this probably isn't as fun because I'm not showing you, but I've track pants on. What else we have here? So I have a zombie, like a samurai zombie. You can kind of see that. Why is this so difficult? You can kind of see that. This will look sick when it's finished as well. Again, like, you know, the helmet isn't fully done. This was like my first bigger tattoo, I guess you could say. It was originally done in like a bit of color, but when I got the sleeve done, he went over it and just like blacked it out a bit. And I have half of my back tattooed as well, but I'm not going to take my shirt off, unfortunately. If you follow me on Instagram, you can see it. My Instagram isn't private anymore, so if you want to go see my back tattoo, you can go look on Instagram. But that's enough about that. That's enough about that shit. Complazert says, Jake never blink barber. Loves Pepsi Cola and Kool-Aid. Does he love Pepsi Cola and Kool-Aid? He definitely didn't blink in the first interview, but he did blink in the Jesse Michaels one, which made me feel a bit more calmer about him. Josh pulling his pants down for 50K. Yep. Will, what's that Simpsons episode where it's like the old man with his pants down, and it's we'll dance. Oh, I can't remember what it was. We'll pull pants down and dance for money. We'll pull pants down and dance for subs. I know people will know the Simpsons episode that I'm talking about. Old grey man ain't what he used to be. Show us Suki's tattoos. She actually does have a tattoo. I'll have to give her a little snack just to show you. I don't know. I probably should have full screened it. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's her microchip tattoo. But for some reason, it literally looks like a smiley face. It's like ... and it's got a little thing underneath it. Don't know why they did that, and obviously my dog has the biggest ears in history, so it's very visible too. Buying girlfriend 10K, dude. The RuneScape economy is so inflated. Girlfriends are going for way more than 10K these days. Try like e-girls aren't going to look your way for less than 100 mil these days. Yep. Can't afford a house. Can't afford a RuneScape girlfriend. Shit's rough out here. Shit is rough. All right. Let's look at some clips. So, get some volume. We have this one here. I've just basically bookmarked a bunch of stuff off X for us to look at. Let me, I have not looked at any of these, but they're videos that I saw that I was like, I want to watch that, but I was like, oh, we'll just watch it together on stream. So This is from Red Panda. It says Dr. Beatriz Villarreal states, based on her research, the data points to surveillance by a non-human technological intelligence. In her words, she doesn't find any other way of looking at this data. Look, I'm just going to say, I didn't hear anyone correlating Beatrice's paper with Patrick Jackson's sphere network theory before I did. They might have, but I didn't see it. And I kind of hammered it a little bit on X. And now, these two seem to be linking up. Was I the disclosure matchmaker? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe not, though. Probably not, but maybe. I actually didn't see anyone else talking about it, though. But anyway, let's watch the clip.
All of this suggests something technological. Are we talking here, Beatrice, about the possibility of a non-human technology that was surveilling this planet at that peak moment in UFO history?
I don't find any other way of looking at this data. I think, if I take the pieces together, that some of them fall on a line. Our best cases happen during the Washington, D.C. flap by coincidence. There's temporal correlations with the nuclear bomb tests and with UFO sightings. And on top of it, there's a huge deficit in the shadow of the Earth. For me, this looks technological. But I might be wrong. Maybe there's a new...
That's crazy. I know this guy who connected the high-altitude nuke tests to this data the other day as well. That's crazy. Who was that guy?
Physical phenomenon that nobody knows about yet, but to me it looks very high-tech.
For me, I'm not a statistician, but I really sat up straight when I read the statistical likelihood that this is something that is ruled out by the Earth's shadow as being, perhaps a plate glitch or something like that. What have you learned statistically from testing whether these transients appeared in the Earth's shadow?
Well, I've learned that to have this deficit by chance is extremely low probability to happen by chance. I think it's bigger probability that one gets eaten up by a supermassive black hole tomorrow than that this happens by chance. That's how improbable it appears to be.
It's interesting to think about, like, if my theory was right, and I'll say it was my theory because I was the first person that I know of that spoke about it. Actually, I'll just say, because I did kind of hint at this the other day and I didn't say who it was. And that was because I was planning to do a video on it and I still want to. But I actually got emailed from Jeff Cruikshank, who I showed in the video where I posed that theory, where he was talking to Ross Coulthart about the high altitude nuke test. Like, I used his clip with Ross to pose my theory that the high altitude nuke test, Starfish Prime, Bluegill Triple Prime, make way more sense if we realize that in the 50s, they knew this stuff, right? Because this data that she has found and interpreted is from the 50s. She hasn't done like a study. She's just found old data and is interpreting it. So we can assume that the militaries and the governments obviously had that data at the time. Suddenly, Starfish Prime, Bluegill Triple Prime make way more sense, right? It's obvious. Well, I said that just because my autistic brain started connecting the dots. And then I got an email from Jeff Cruikshank. And when I got that email, I was like, am I getting scammed? I was like, this is kind of creepy. I mean, first of all, it's just kind of creepy being on people's radar, right? Like, it's just, I like Jeff Cruikshank. I mean, I don't know him, but like, seems like a nice dude, Aussie, cool dude. But when like, he comes from like intelligence agencies, and that's fine. Not everyone from the intelligence agency is a bad person. That's not what I'm saying. But just like when these kind of people start emailing me, it makes me kind of be like, fuck. Like, I just want to talk about UFOs in my bedroom, bro. Everyone leave me alone. But it wasn't like that at all. It was nice. We had a great exchange. So, but just the whole idea that he emailed me was kind of like, whoa. But he basically, he showed me some stuff that's already in the public sphere. So it's not like I have a massive scoop. Although when I went through the story, I was very shocked that, well, I was shocked that like I didn't already know about it, and I'm shocked that like it's not a bigger deal and that people don't like talk about this more, because it is really big. It's really big, and that's what I'm going to do a video on soon. But yeah, that was interesting, and that's what kind of gave me a bit more confidence to really drive that theory home, because he was like, yeah, you're the only person I've heard of that's actually connected those dots together. So I was like, damn, I'm onto something. And then I went hard about it on X, and now these guys are linking up. Not saying I'm responsible for it, but maybe I played a small role. Who knows? All right, next clip. What do we got here? Another red panda, the goat of clips. We have declassification. Sorry, I'm mildly retarded tonight. We've had declassification of strange UFO videos. Is there anything in the files you've found? Nothing I'm prepared to talk about today. Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard on UFOs. All right, what do we got here?
We've had some declassification of some very strange videos that look like they are, unidentified flying objects. Is there anything in the files that you think you
Is she Aussie? Who is that?
could find or you have found?
Nothing that I'm prepared to talk about today.
We've had some declassification of some very...
Oh, that's it. Nothing I'm prepared to talk about today. I guess she's alluding to the fact that there is stuff in the files. Whoa, breaking news. Breaking news. The government know more about UFOs than they're letting on. More at 5. Next clip. Sorry, I got chats to catch up on here. Complizert says, Brody, which one is your favorite Terence McKenna quote? Oh, gosh. There's so many. I mean, it probably has to be the one that I've put in my intro, right? Although it's not in the intro, but I do like, I don't know it word for word, but when he speaks about, like, this is what it's like before a civilization begins to depart for the stars. You guys know that little bit that he does? Basically saying, he says it's like a fire in a madhouse. Just chaotic times. Everyone's confused. It's just fucking wild. This is what it's like before a civilization takes to the stars. I like that one too. I've actually been wanting to mention to you guys that I found this really cool YouTube channel the other day. And I think it's just called like Terence Sleeps or Terence McKenna Sleeps. And this person just uploads like 7-hour Terence McKenna compilations of him talking to go to sleep to. So if you've got a overactive mind like me that you struggle to turn off, those things are really cool to go to sleep to. So go and check that out. I think it's called like Terence Sleeps or Terence McKenna Sleeps. All right, what do we got here? Do we want to read this part? I reckon let's just watch the clip, actually.
There is an undercurrent of intelligence agency individuals trying to, quote, shape the emerging UAP narrative, who have been using this idea of a craft coming to Earth to employ individuals to harness their mics, their microphones, and their voices and their commitment. And that's what I was warning people about. that was nonsense, that is a re-emerging narrative that will continue to come. So this might be, in a way, this might be a sort of symptom of what I was warning people about. But it's not directly what I was saying. I mean, this thing's going to come by Earth the closest, I think, November 16th or something. I don't know for sure, but it's not 2027. And also, by the way, when I never actually said the words in the show, 2027, there was a range that people were kind of spreading within media and UFO industry, and that was between 2027 and 2036. Leave yourself a big ass window if you're telling lies to people. That's what you do. So, look, if I'm wrong, we're going to be invaded, and it doesn't matter anyway. However, I just want to be really clear, which is that there is this undercurrent from intelligence agencies, and I absolutely wanted to warn people that I thought it was bullshit. I still think it's bullshit, and I think it's a way to harness people's attention, and I think it's diabolical. But this is not exactly what I was talking about.
So, yeah, he's referring to three eye atlas there, saying no, like the stream that we did the other day where we got solemn Corbell with a dramatic zoom in and his eyes looking down, like, there will be a lie. So he's referencing that, saying, no, I'm not talking about 3-Eye Atlas specifically, which is interesting. Someone said, Raph says, Corbell is a funny dude. I like him, but I also like roasting him once in a while. Me too, Raph. Me too. And I think that's okay. But I think, with what he said there,
there is a range that per November 16th or something. I don't know for sure, but it's not 2027. And also, by the way, when I never actually said the words in the show, 2027, there is a range that people were kind of spreading within media and UFO industry, and that was between 2027 and 2036. Leave yourself a big ass window if you're telling lies to people. That's what you do. So,
yeah, like they're good points, and yeah, people do love to roast Jeremy, because he's a bit of a giggity guy, but you can tell there, like, he was just trying to do what he thinks was right. He just did it in his eccentric Jeremy way, which is just who he is. So, but I think his intentions were good. 100%. I mean, of course, yeah, I think his intentions were definitely good. He's so LA Hollywood animated. Where, like, his accent, is that what you mean? Like an LA accent? Academy Award for the somber scene. That was a good one. He should be at the next UFO awards that Panda does. He was actually nominated for the Crash Out Award. I think he might have got gypped. Although Ashton's Crash Out was pretty unmatched. Polarity, have you spoken about Anna Luna wanting to send a probe in March of next year yet? I haven't spoken about that, but isn't that also what Avi spoke about? Like, Avi said that we actually have a probe out there right now. I can't remember what it like Juno. It's called Juno, and it was out there to be like photographing Jupiter or something like that. And originally, like, our plan was to, like, we were kind of done with it, and we were just gonna like send it at Jupiter, like, just kamikaze it into Jupiter essentially. And they're saying it still has some fuel in it, so we should like use it to go look at this thing. I mean, yeah, why wouldn't you? Makes sense. Although, if this is a Psy-Op, that, like, if they do that, then they kind of have grounds to be like, Juno says it's a giant reptile spaceship. We're all fucked. And then Woolworths runs out of toilet paper. So it's a double-edged sword. It's like, do you want people, if this is a Psy-Op, we don't want them to send the probe, because then they have grounds to continue the Psy-Op. They won't tell the truth either way. Yeah, likely. All right, next clip. What do we got? We got we got 2 clips. All right. let's see what Donald has to say.
I wanted to ask you about drones. We had the issue in New Jersey before the election where there are all these people thought UFOs or an attack of the killer drones.
Attack of the killer drones is crazy, by the way. Like, I don't need to explain it. You guys get it.
And I believe you're doing something about.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I know I can't tell you who it was and what it was, but yeah. I can't really tell you. I'd love to tell you actually, but it's not a big deal.
It's
but,
not something frightening.
No, but I just, so obviously it's something that I know about and it's not a problem at all.
It was legal.
Oh yeah, that was legal.
It was legal. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it was legal, yeah. So unconfident. Thank you, Kat. I
wanted to ask you about drones.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I know I can't tell you who it was and what it was, but I can't really tell you. I'd love to tell you actually, but it's not a big deal.
Yeah. I'd love to tell you, but I just couldn't tell you. So many drones. All kinds of drones. He like, when he talks, it's like he just starts a new sentence based off the thing that he just said. Like the last 4 words, and then he'll just do 4 more words, but not related to the whole thing, just the last 4 words. Like, there were drones. The next part. There were so many drones. The next part. All kinds of drones. Huge drones. Small drones. It's like, yeah, bro, stop. Just go to the question. Finish the question. All kinds of drones. Big ones, little ones. It does sound like he goes to say it's not up to me, which is very interesting.
I can't really tell you. I'd love to tell you actually, but it's not a big deal.
It's not up. It's not up to you because you are just the public relations. You are just the PR guy. I think we all know that. You're just the PR guy. They're all the PR guy. It's not just Trump. But like, what I wonder is, he's been the president before, so like, surely he must know that there are governments beyond the government that actually control what the government does. So like, if that's true, why the hell would you want that job? Like, why would you want the job of all the nation looking to you as like the one who's responsible for everything? But you know that you actually just do what you're told. So when your boss or bosses tell you to do something that the people aren't going to like, that's going to suck. Like when you say, day 1 in office, I'll tell you what the drones are. Gets in office 3 months later. Oh, they're just drones. They're just drones. Yeah, I told you I'd tell you what they are. They're just drones. Gotcha. It's like, so everyone just gets in office and does the same thing. Congrats on 30K. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate you, bro. Thanks for dropping in here. Pumping out the good content as always. Anyway, let's move on from Trump because obviously politics are fake and gay at the same time. Okay, so this is a little 10-minuter of our Lord and Savior Father Icke. Do we want to watch a little 10-minuter from Grand Maester Icke? I mean, you know what I think, but what do you guys want to do? Do we want a 10-minute sermon from Pastor David? Yes, let's do it. Yes. Okay. Yeah, we got a few. The Lizard King is welcome on Polarity.
And so what I'm looking at here in this section as I start a chronological story is I'm looking at a timeline. One timeline, one reality within what even mainstream scientists are now talking about, these different realities, parallel universes and stuff.
Sorry, just before we get too deep into that, I did miss a super chat. $5 from Code Red Jew Girl. Polarity, why does no one ever ask Lou Elizondo about his time at Guantanamo Bay? That is an interesting story. I mean, he has spoken about it a little bit. You are right, though. It doesn't seem to get brought up much. And it is a very odd story. I'm curious if it got brought up in his interview with Chris Ramsey. Because from memory, in that interview, I remember Chris opening that interview and saying, you, as in Lou, has said that I can ask any question and that this won't be edited. So there was no like cuts or anything like that. So that might be, and I remember thinking that was a good interview. I thought Chris did really well. So that could be one to maybe go through and look for any Guantanamo Bay nuggets. But you are right, it doesn't get talked about much.
Stuff which interpenetrate each other. This is one timeline. So we go back, we can pick this story up in this timeline in ancient times, prehistorical times in terms of official history, where there were, it would appear, two great civilizations which made together a global civilization, one based on a landmass which has become known as Atlantis, and one which has become known as Mu or Lemuria. And these were advanced, very advanced civilizations with, in many ways, knowledge beyond what is available in the public arena today. And they went to great technological lengths, great understandings, for instance, in how you can create a magnetic field which then makes vast stones basically weightless, and you can push them along and maneuver them around. Great.
Didn't David Icke once claim to be the second coming of Christ? No, that was the brain-dead, retarded mainstream media's interpretation of what he said. If you go back and look at his original 1991 interview, where he's wearing the iconic pink and blue jumpsuit. Anyway, if you go back and watch that, what he actually said was that, like, what he said to the person was, I am God, you are God, God is in all of us. And obviously the ape-brained reporters were like, he thinks he's God. Like, no, bro, you just have your pineal gland is a literal stone.
Technological advancement, at least among the elite. These civilizations came to an end, it seems, with great cataclysmic events. It's interesting that when you've got studies which put together the ancient folklore around the world describing what the Bible calls the Great Flood, but that's just one version of the same recurring story in every ancient culture. And then you look at the geological and biological record of the Earth, the two correlate in terms of great cataclysmic events which cause fantastic geological upheavals. Of course, the story of Noah in the Bible, which is a rewrite of a much older Sumerian story, which probably is mirrored, in fact is mirrored all over the world using different names for Noah. That is the most famous one of the Great Flood and the Great Cataclysms, but it is just one. The survivors of these advanced civilizations, and indeed before, moved out into other lands, and they took with them this advanced knowledge that was part of that once global society. But now these societies became isolated, and that original knowledge started to go its own way. Same knowledge, but it started to be expressed in different ways, using different symbolisms, different tools, different names, etc. And this story is also why, when historians and others have gone into these places, like the Maya and South America and the Maya in Central America and other places, They were astounded when they first apparently discovered these civilizations, these groupings of people.
Australia got no knowledge? Yeah, bro, we've been left in the dark hard. That's the one thing that, like, I mean, Australia is a beautiful place visually, but, like, we don't really have any, like, we literally have no culture. Like, we don't have traditions, really. We don't have culture. Like, we don't, you know, like, you go to Europe and you've got, like, heritage, and the buildings are beautiful, and, like, there are traditions. I'd say, like, those kind of traditions are even probably, like, more prevalent in more, like, you know, Asian countries, India. You know, tradition is really, like, valued in those kind of places. Like, tradition here is like having a barbecue. Tradition here is like kick-ons. Traditions here is like getting home from night clubbing and then continue drinking until 5 a.m. That's tradition here. Woohoo. And don't get me wrong, I used to enjoy a bit of tradition. Yep. I've done plenty of ceremonies, but you know, it's not the most doesn't have a lot of longevity to it. It's not really wholesome, you know? Michael says can't be worse than American culture. Well, I guess that's a broad term, Michael. Native American culture is a different story. I think that's a different story. That's the kind of culture I wish Australia had. And well, you know, we have our indigenous people, the Aboriginal people, who do have their own traditions and stuff, but with the way the white man came in and just like literally eradicated them and like moved them out of the way so we could just build our own civilization. Not only when we built that, did we kind of just like say, oh, your traditions, they suck and they can just stay over there and we're going to do our own thing now. So not only, like, we don't get taught about them. We don't get, like, they're not a part of our culture, which is a disgrace, actually. It's terrible. But I will say America is also an older country. So even if we aren't talking about natives, I don't know, what is some, like, modern American culture?
That the same basic stories that they were telling, religious stories and other stories that they were telling in Europe.
We more or less did the same thing, brother. We're in the same situation. Yeah, you're right. You are right. White man come in, just, yep, you pack up, out. This is ours now. Oh, by the way, if you don't like it, too bad. Too bad.
We're being told.
Sorry, I just want to be clear. That's not funny. I'm just being sarcastic.
By these other societies that apparently had no connection to Europe whatsoever because we've just discovered you. Well, these original stories come from the original knowledge that's just got isolated. They're the original stories from the historical times of the global society, the golden age, as some accounts call it. Also, as these peoples with these advanced knowledge and understandings went into other areas of the world, not just after the cataclysms, but also before it, they were the people that had the knowledge to build these fantastic ancient structures that even today people say we couldn't build that now, or we'd struggle to. How did they do it, these primitive people? Because they were working with this advanced knowledge. But history just shuts this stuff out because it doesn't fit the song sheet. And this is a very significant area of the world in terms of the recovery from the cataclysmic events and the resettlement of these peoples from this global society. People in conventional history, they call, for instance, Sumer, Mesopotamia, what we now call Iraq, the cradle of civilization. No, it wasn't the start of civilization. It was one of the major points of recreation of a civilization after the cataclysmic events had brought an end to the old one. And what we're seeing now, and what's happening, is this global society is now re-emerging in another way as these formerly isolated societies start to connect together again. In fact, it's been going on, of course, for a very long time. And another connection that you have between these areas and many other areas in the world is of an interbreeding between a non-human race, force, whatever, and humans, creating a hybrid bloodline, a fusion of the two DNA. These hybrid bloodlines, this interbreeding, produce the kings and queens and the elite royal families of the ancient world, where they claim their right, their genetic right to be the king or the queen or the leader because of their connection to the gods. And all over the world you find this. And what do we have today? We have the queen as head of state of this country purely because of her DNA. She had a different DNA.
This is actually going to lead in. I've actually got one more clip I want to show you guys from TikTok, from Ashley. And I've shown her before. She's like religious, but goes down like rabbit holes and stuff. And she actually is talking about Nathan Reynolds, who we looked at in the satanic ritual abuse stuff, about these bloodlines, how these people, like the people who know, and they know because it would be kept in the family, the people who descend from these bloodlines literally think that they still have this like divine right to rule, and they practice all this gnarly shit in secret because they believe it is their right to do so. So this actually is going to set up the next clip really well. It's reminding you how much you want to catch up with Randall Carlson. Every conversation with Randall Carlson is a good conversation, for sure. What's your thoughts on David Icke, Michael?
Hey, she might be cleaning the throne, not sitting on it. You know, that's how ludicrous it is. And this is where it comes from. These people claim to be elite and special because of this hybrid bloodline nature connection to the gods. And in Sumer, you find the same. Sumer, which became Babylon, which became Iraq, has ancient texts and tablets which describe the same recurring global story of this interbreeding to create this hybrid race. The hybrid race became known as the demigods, part human, part god, because of this interbreeding connection. And from here, they went out all over the world. So the invasion of Iraq and the occupation of Iraq now is not just about oil. It is about oil on one level, yes. It's about many things. But it's also because that area of land, Mesopotamia, the land between two rivers, is considered of great significance to these bloodlines for historical reasons, because that's where a lot... Facts.
There is no way that these kind of topics and these rabbit holes do not play a major role in America's presence in Iraq. There's just no way. Obviously, there's the whole Tomb of Gilgamesh thing, right? Actually, so Ashley, who I'm going to show you guys in the next video, she was the first person I ever did like a creator shout out for, I think in like the very first episode of Weird Week, where she talked about the Tomb of Gilgamesh. I'm not sure where I was going with that, other than saying maybe just how weird and like related all of this stuff is, with like her covering this and that. Now it's related to this. It's all synchronizing.
A lot of them came out of. So this hybrid bloodline went off across the world, up into northern Europe. It became the power behind the Roman Empire and the creation of the Roman Church, which became, of course, global Christianity. much more about that as we go along. And everywhere it went, it became the royal bloodline, the elite bloodline, the one that became the leaders and the kings and the queens, and also the people in charge behind the scenes. And it interbred with other such bloodlines in Northern Europe to become the royal families and aristocratic families of Europe. Then, because of the...
Michael says, I don't know, man, about Icke. To be fair, I haven't done a super deep dive. I think my main issue is any kind of clean monolithic explanation for everything is just too convenient for me. Yeah, I get that. I think a lot of people have... I mean, people have always had issues with David Icke, don't get me wrong. But I feel like in the last 5 or 6 years, mainly, he seems to be like melding like politics in his theories and shit like that. And obviously that's always going to rub people up the wrong way. But I think Icke's early work, like between basically the start up until maybe like, I don't know, 2015-ish, like that was his, like, I feel like he was really on it.
The European empires, particularly the British, but the French and others too, but particularly the British, we had global Babylon, global Sumer, the global elite bloodline expansion. They went all over the world. They said the sun never set on the British Empire, so vast was it. Into Australia, into Africa, all over the world they went through colonization. And then we had this sleight of hand called independence for the former colonies, but it was only independence on the surface. What these bloodlines did was leave out in those former colonies the bloodline and the secret society network, which I'll come to, which manipulates the bloodline and its gophers and agents into positions of power.
Yeah, David Icke is banned from Australia. Still, I'm pretty sure. He's been banned for almost 10 years, I reckon.
And they've gone on controlling those countries ever since.
And, like, to me, that makes me want to hear what he has to say more. Because, you know, no one cares when there's that homeless guy on the street ranting and raving, saying wild shit, right? No one cares when someone's just talking garbage. But when people are banned, when people are silenced, that to me is like, hey, what is that guy saying? I think we should be listening to something that guy is saying, because people in power don't want you to.
And so today, these hybrid bloodlines are known as the Illuminati, the illuminated ones, and they're the ones that control the transnational corporations, governments, the banking system, the whole shebang that dictates and controls the direction of society. More of that later. And the idea, of course, because compared with the global population, there's very...
What was he banned for? I don't know, like, the official reasoning. Like, you know, I don't know what it says on his banning visa or whatever. But I think we can, you know, assume it's for his opinions. Imagine that. Banned for an opinion.
Few of these people. The idea is to enslave the rest of humanity in that vibrational prison I've been talking about, so the few can control the vast majority.
There we go. Yeah, apparently David Icke's live shows literally go for 12 hours. I mean, I'm not surprised. If you've ever watched a podcast with him, the podcast host usually gets in about 1 or 2 questions in 2 hours, and Icke just goes. So he's got no issues with talking. But yeah, what a man. What a man. The Khazarian Mafia was a disturbing rabbit hole. Yep. Hey, you know, we're talking... So, okay, so on the topic of David Icke being banned for his opinions, why would you ban someone who's just talking nonsense, right? Why did my video that touched on the Khazarian Mafia get demonetized? I don't know. Is it the same thing? Don't know. Maybe. Yo, Josh. Matten even made Tim Pool take his hat off on his podcast last week. Oh, really? Really? Damn. Everyone's cultural. There's a cultural convergence of hair reveals this week. Interesting. Taylor Stagg with $5. First time catching a live. Been devouring your videos the last few weeks. Great stuff, bro. Ooh, Taylor, I like that. You devouring them. I like it. You little freak. Welcome. Welcome to the channel. Make sure you check out some of the members only content as well. A little bit different over there. A bit of a different vibe in the members section. Bit more real. Bit more raw. But it's good stuff. Make sure you come and check out the Discord as well. It's always a good vibe in there too. So I think, hang on, we'll just do one more. Josh, have you ever looked into Jordan Maxwell? After 40 years of being into UFOs, he changed the way I process a lot of this, along with Jesse, UAP, GERB, Area 52, and the Y-Files. Yes, actually. One of the other bigger videos on my channel, which was actually kind of the video that led me to the Billy Corgan story, which was just a general video about shapeshifters. I included a story from Jordan Maxwell, and I'll retell it quickly just because it is fascinating. But basically he says he was speaking on the radio about shapeshifters and reptilians or something like that, because that's the stuff that he talks about. And someone he knew, who he says was a Las Vegas business mogul, who a lot of people in the comments were saying it's Bob Bigelow, it's Bob Bigelow. Like a lot of people were saying that. I don't know. Actually, no, some people say they've heard Bob Bigelow tell the story from his own perspective. So maybe it is him. But anyway, Jordan Maxwell says that Bob Bigelow said, hey, you know, when you were talking about that, you know, like we're Christians, we go to, like, we run church. Every year our church does like a family, a group of families from the church go out into somewhere in camp, just as like a church thing, right? And they were in Colorado, out in the, I don't know, I've never been there, so I don't know, but out in the rural areas of Colorado. And they were just walking, and it was, mountains and forests and whatever. And they looked down a little valley into a clearing, and he said there was a group of people with hoods and robes, which is like, or imagine seeing that. They were in a circle holding hands, swaying and chanting. Which is like, I mean, just seeing that in itself in the middle of nowhere would be horrifying. And they said that all of a sudden, a reptilian like just popped into reality in the middle of the circle, and it was like 9 foot. It was like way bigger, way muscular than the people, and they all noticed them. And once they noticed them, they obviously like shit themselves and went to like leave. And as soon as they turned around, the reptilian that was in the circle was there behind them. And they said, and I remember, this is apparently coming from like a totally Christian family who don't believe in aliens. And they said that when they were face to face with this thing, this group of families, so like a few couples and their children, this is a big group, probably like maybe 15 people or something. And they said when they were face to face with this thing, that it was like time was stopped. No one could move. No one could cry. No one could scream. No one could do anything. It was just like they were locked. And that this being was like, looking at them all like this. And that they all knew telepathically that it was like, you shouldn't be here. Like, I could kill you if I wanted to, but basically, like, you need to leave ASAP. And then apparently it kind of gave like a double take and like really eyed up the men in the group, like intimidated them or something. And then once it was gone, like it like walked away, like took 2 steps. And then as it stepped, it was just like gone. And then as soon as it was gone, it was like all of them were unlocked. And immediately the kids, the women, like just screaming, crying, like it just got turned on. Wild story. That's what Jordan Maxwell told. And you know, obviously he's telling a secondhand story, but the way, you know, it's coming from like a group of Christians apparently. And apparently this guy was like, yeah, we're Christians. We don't believe in this shit, but we saw a reptile alien. Take it take it for what you will. Third eye drops. Michael Phillips with $5 says, congrats on 30K, bro. You're building that heat. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. And it means a lot coming from you as well. You got a great channel, big audience, and I'm a fan as well. I'm a fan of your work. So thank you, dude. I really appreciate that. We're the purple crew, bro. We're running the purple show for sure. All right. So let's go to this other clip from Ashley that I was talking about. And I think actually for this one, oh no, I can't do it over here. Okay, we'll do it here, but we might just have to change things up a little bit because it's going to look a little funky.
All right, buckle up for this video, and for TikTok purposes, this is for entertainment.
All right, hold up. So let's resize this. This is another 10-minute one, but this is good. This is a bit of a deep dive. Where should we put it? We'll put it here so we can still see Suki. Yeah, here we go. Perfect. That works. All right, check this out. This is Ashley talking all kinds of weird. Just how we like it.
Only. Now, this is Nathan Reynolds. He was born into a family that has the ancient bloodline of those that are mentioned in Genesis 6. Now, I'm going to be very careful with my words in this video for obvious reasons, but he is now a spirit-filled born-again believer, and he talks very openly about what it was like being raised in the occult, being raised in that kind of environment, the activities that they would be constantly involved in, some of which are very hard to listen to. He talks openly about their interactions with the demonic realm, with fallen angels, and he came to the topic of the upcoming tribulation, about the upcoming Antichrist.
By the way, I'll just say that like this video is like, it's kind of like a wild theory on Ashley's behalf. So like, just take this as, you know, take it for whatever you want. This is like a theory, but it's pretty interesting and it's wild. And I just thought it'd be cool to show, especially because we looked at Nathan Reynolds last week. Michael says, I like it. I like when he looks like a feral werewolf better. Yeah, that's what we looked at last week when he was in his feral werewolf era. Yeah, pretty interesting dude. Very interesting story.
I'm going to play a 1-minute clip of what he said, and then I'm going to tell you what happened to me.
But his shot caller on the earth is going to be the beast who rises. That's Apollo. It's not some Nikolai Carpathia and Tim LaHaye and Jerry B. Jenkins Left Behind series brainwashed America and the world to think that it's some dude who's going to just show up one day and be real politically active. Not that guy. It's named in the Bible explicitly for a reason. It's not like a questionable thing. Death follows him. That's Anubis. That's the jackal-headed god. That's the false prophet. It's plainly said in the scriptures. They are going to come and physically inhabit actual thrones on the earth. The dragon, the devil, Azazel, is going to give his power, his reign, over to Apollo. They won't go by these names, right? They'll call him like the Traveler. They're going to call him celestial hosts. These gods, these aliens that have come. The guys who gave us life. Thank you, Prometheus. Those guys. That'll be much more the narrative that's conducive for their agenda. But these X-Men, like they are literally children, bloodline inheritance children from Nimrod.
So at this point, I had been binge watching multiple of his videos, you know, just going from podcast to podcast. It's at the end of the day. Nothing else is going on. I'm not emotional until I get to this point, and it comes out of absolutely nowhere. And I'm all of a sudden, like just like a light switch, I'm uncontrollably emotional. I'm crying to a point where I can't even breathe. There was no sound coming out. I'm like trying to gather myself and like take a breath of air.
I never trust the weirdos that seem too overconfident. 100%, Mary. I always say in this space, anyone who's like really confident of anything, you're sus, bro. Why are you so confident? Where'd you get that from?
And I'm laying there and I just get this image of ancient Egypt, but it was modernized in a way. And I'm watching and I'm just seeing like these giant freaks, these like giant demonic hybrids, and they're hunting down man, and there's chaos and people are screaming And, you know, God said it would be like it was in the days of Noah. And I literally sat there, y'all, and I had this like revelation. And I pray every single day that God will reveal to me the truth. And he took me down this road a few years ago out of nowhere. And he has shown me so much, you know, through the Bible, through the...
He actually does look like McLovin. What the hell? I mean, not his face, but that is the McLovin vest outfit. What the hell?
Apocrypha about the spiritual side of all of this. And that's why I like this topic, because, you know, a lot of Christians don't like to learn about the spiritual war, about the entities that are all around us. I do. I find it fascinating. And, you know, God said that the end days would be exactly like it was in the days of Noah. And a lot of Christians don't understand exactly what happened in the days of Noah. The flood didn't come about. God didn't pour out his wrath just because there was sin. He poured out his wrath because literally there was one family left that was genetically pure, that hadn't been messed with by demonic entities. And that was Noah. Satan came down and tried to prevent Jesus from being born. There was demonic hybrids running and ruling this world. And that's why, you know, everywhere we see, they have these half human, half animal hybrids. And of course, we were taught that this is just Greek mythology. It was just weird stuff written on ancient hieroglyphics. Like, we didn't really think anything of it because we weren't taught, of course, that this actually happened, because that would correlate to the Genesis 6 narrative. That would correlate to actually why God flooded the earth. Every single ancient civilization had some form of these hybrids, some form, and some of them worshiped them as gods because they had demonic knowledge, they had demonic power. They were most of them were giants, so they were revered as little g gods.
Michael, you get big disinfo vibes from this guy. He's like a narrative edgelord. What is it about the things that he says that throw you off a little bit?
Okay, so just bear with me. So I'm laying there, I'm gathering myself, I can breathe normally again. I have him paused and I'm trying to analyze all of this, right? I have this image of ancient Egypt kind of in the future, I guess. And I'm thinking, like, what if he's right? What if all of us were trying to like look at this world, political figures, trying to figure out who could be the AC, who could be, you know, fulfilling prophecy, what this man's doing, he's making alliances over there. And I'm like, what if we're thinking too small? What if we're not thinking spiritual enough? And I'm like, God says it will be exactly like it was in the days of Noah. And we know that they're going to explain the rapture. And if you don't believe in the rapture, then you can prepare to endure all this. But once the rapture happens, they're going to explain it. Satan already has an explanation. He has his way of telling the world what happened without leading them to the Bible. So he's going to tell the world that we were abducted, right? So what if the little g gods, who are very much real,
it's his outfit. I get it. I respect that.
Actually come back. And they physically...
Honest men don't wear vests like that. I.e. McLovin.
return to this world. And what if one of them, Apollo, will come down in the form of the fake Messiah? And because he is giant, because he is going to descend from the literal air, what if they're actually going to descend on this earth and everything is going to come back? Because I know, and I cannot talk about this, that they're doing things in labs. What if everything is going to be released? What if everything is going to come back?
The whole doing things in lab stuff, again, like after going down the satanic ritual abuse stuff for a little while, and, you know, the way that it's connected to Epstein and the stuff that like Juliet Bryant talked about, it really does seem like they are literally cloning humans. And I know that sounds crazy, but when these people are potentially like gatekeeping and controlling science at the same time, it makes sense. And I used this analogy the other day, but like if these people literally like traffic humans for sex, for sacrifice, for ritual purposes, and that this cult is so big and far spread, like it would make sense that you're going to have to stop doing it to innocent people and just like make your own. And if you're inviting all of these wild scientists and physicists to your island, and you're, at the top of these upper echelons and in the pockets of all these people, you're probably doing stuff that isn't being done in college, university laboratories, right? You're probably doing some wild shit. Again, the analogy that I think works the best here is that if you have a massive multi-million-dollar worldwide company, and the biggest material that you need for your company are printer cartridges, at some point it becomes a good business idea to stop buying someone else's printer cartridges and just start making your own. And that actually makes a lot of sense to me in that whole fucked up world.
And the Antichrist is not some little mortal political dude on our TV screens, on our phone screens. What if he is actually going to be half demon, in a way that he actually descends from another dimension? And that is how the deception is so grand. That is how the deception is so overwhelming. And that is why it says that men's hearts fail them from fear. That period of time, you literally have hybrids walking this earth again. And what if the false prophet comes with him and is literally this freak?
Wait. You mean this guy? Wait, what? I've been exposed. Live on stream. Josh, you nailed the thumbnail on this video. Thank you, man. It was a pretty last minute one that I threw together. Michael says, Metal Gear Solid plot. I say that as a massive bonus to this theory. I've actually got a clip from Metal Gear Solid 2 that seems to predict where we're at. I was going to use it in a video 4 months ago, and I never actually used it, but I could pull it up. We could watch it after this. I think it goes for a couple minutes. It'd be interesting to watch on stream. Maybe you know the one I'm talking about.
And again, I could be totally off. I could be totally in left field with this, and I am just crazy, but it makes sense. It makes sense, as in the days of Noah. And it makes sense, the deception aspect. It makes sense, the deception level. It makes sense because the Antichrist is going to be seen as the Messiah. The Antichrist is going to try to be Jesus, and he kind of can't be just some political guy that we've been seeing, right? But he might not even be some political guy that's just been in an office somewhere on this earth. What if he's actually going to be one of these demons, one of these spirits, one of these fallen angels from the days of Noah? Now, the first seal is the rider on the white horse. That is the Antichrist. So the rider actually represents a real person that will participate in the tribulation. The fourth seal has two riders on a pale horse. And what if death and Hades is actually the arrival of Anubis and somebody else, because Anubis is the god of the underworld? So what if the riders on the pale horse actually represent the arrival of the false prophet?
She's losing a few people now. I get it. I did say this is a wild theory. She has 1 minute left.
And somebody else that plays a role in the tribulation. And then I'm digging a little deeper, and I'm reading about the locusts that are released from the literal pits of hell to torment men. And it says, and the shapes of the locusts were like unto horses prepared unto battle, and on their heads were as it were crowns like gold, and their faces were as the faces of men. And they had hair as the hair of women, and their teeth were as the teeth of lions, and they had breastplates as it were breastplates of iron, and the sound of their wings was as the sound of chariots of many horses running into battle. And they had tails like unto scorpions, and there were stings in their tails, and their power was to hurt men for 5 months. What if everything is coming back? What if what we have been thinking is truly, like I heard in my spirit, child's play? What if it will be exactly like it was in the days of Noah? And what if, when God said that men's hearts will fail them from fear, one of the reasons is because these things are now walking the earth again?
Dang.
All right, buckle up.
Yeah, pretty wild theory, interesting theory. I feel like she was, you know, kind of cooking a bit at the start, and then as we all do, we're all
For TikTok
guilty
purposes,
of this.
this is for entertainment.
We're all guilty of this, right? I do it all the time. I get onto a bit of a theory, and then I just keep cooking the theory. I just keep going and and then it could connect to this, and then it could also mean that. And then like after a while, you're like, actually, I think I'm actually just kind of cooked. I should have stopped at like the first point or two. Now I'm actually a tinfoil hat crazy person. But that's the fun part, right? Theorizing is the fun part. It's just like making sure you can discern your own theories and reality. That's the important part that I think some people miss. All right. I got this cool little clip here that we'll throw in because Michael brought it up, and I think it's a cool one. I've had it for a while and I've just never shown it. This is a cutscene from Metal Gear Solid 2, and it's really kind of resonates with the digital kind of dystopian future that we are in. Now, if it comes in really loud, I apologize. I'll try and fix it as quickly as I can.
But there are things not covered by genetic information. What do you mean?
Actually, it's probably not loud enough. Give me a sec. Get a bit of gain on that bad boy. There we go. All right. We're nearly there. Are we back? Are we back? Refresh. Can I get a Roger? Do we have contact? Am I being abducted by the CIA? Yep, we're back. Okay, we're good. That's really annoying when that happens because now the VOD is going to be broken up on the channel. It's annoying, but hey, gotta roll with the punches. All right. Yep, spam for people to refresh because people will still miss it. Anne McPherson chucked in $3 as well. Thank you very much, Anne. I appreciate your support. All right, so just in case anyone missed it, this is a cutscene from Metal Gear Solid 2, which is like a PlayStation 1 game from the, maybe even late 90s, I want to say, but like that era. Anyway, it's eerily, it rings eerily true to society today.
But there are things not covered by genetic information.
What do you mean?
Human memories, ideas, culture, history.
Genes don't contain any record of human history.
Is it something that should not be passed on? Should that information be left at the mercy of nature?
We've always kept records of our lives, through words, pictures, symbols, from tablets to books.
But not all the information was inherited by later generations. A small percentage of the whole was selected and processed, then passed on. Not unlike genes, really.
That's what history is, Jack.
But in the current digitized world, trivial information is accumulating every second, preserved in all its triteness, never fading, always accessible.
Rumors about petty issues, misinterpretations, slander.
All this junk data, preserved in an unfiltered state, growing at an alarming rate.
It will only slow down social progress, reduce the rate of evolution.
Right. You seem to think that our plan is one of censorship.
Are you telling me it's not?
You're being silly. What we propose to do is not to control content, but to create context.
Create context?
The digital society furthers human flaws and selectively rewards development of convenient half-truths.
Damn.
Just look at the strange juxtapositions of morality around you.
Billions spent on new weapons in order to humanely murder other humans.
Rights of criminals are given more respect than the privacy of their victims.
Although there are people suffering in poverty, huge donations are made to protect endangered species. Everyone grows up being told the same thing.
Be nice to other people.
But beat out the competition.
You're special. Believe in yourself and you will succeed.
But it's obvious from the start that only a few can succeed.
You exercise your right to freedom, and this is the result. All rhetoric, to avoid conflict and protect each other from hurt. The untested truths, spun by different interests, continue to churn and accumulate in the sandbox of political correctness and value systems.
Everyone withdraws into their own small gated community, afraid of a larger forum. They stay inside their little ponds, leaking whatever truth suits them into the growing cesspool of society at large.
The different cardinal truths neither clash nor mesh. No one is invalidated, but nobody is right.
Not even natural selection can take place here. The world is being engulfed in truth.
And this is the way the world ends. Not with a bang, but a whimper.
Ooh, that's crazy. I haven't watched that for a while. Like I said, that was... You guys know the video that I did where it's like Elon Musk, but half of his face is an alien, and I think it says like, we become them through technology. I followed a lot of Diana Pasolka's work in the video. That's what that was meant to be for, but I don't think I ever ended up using it. But it's such an interesting... I mean, the fact that it's from 2001 is crazy. But, you know, I really like the part where it talks about how there's just like so many different versions of truth, and like no one can like we're overwhelmed with different truths, and it's just creating like this super dysfunctional society where it's like the truth is almost subjective at this point. And I think actually in that video that I'm talking about, I've got a clip from David Bowie, and David Bowie actually says something like, you know, back in the 60s or the 70s, there was just one truth. Like everyone knew what was right, like morally and lawfully. Like it was just like, you know, there was no confusion. Everyone just knew like what was right and what was wrong, what was true and what was fake. But since the internet has come about, now the truth is like literally subjective. And I think that comes, actually, we can jump over here now. I think that comes down to what I sort of spoke about the other day, and that is that individual humans, one person, can only take in so much data, right? With our senses. The internet kind of exacerbates that a little bit, allows us to take in more and like filters in, you know, more rogue ideas that perhaps wouldn't have come in had we not had this sort of like weird neural access across the world. But when we have that, when one person has access to like this, like interface, like the internet is kind of like a physical graphical interface of like the world's brain. And it's so vast that like you could choose to tap into this part of it, that part of it, that part of it, that part of it. And it's so big and vast that whatever little part of the internet that you choose to tap into, because even that, you can only tune into one part at a time, that's going to be full of its own ideas and truths and ways of thinking and ideologies that will then become your reality. But someone else who's tuned into a different part of the internet, taking in all different kinds of ideas and ways of thinking, now you have like two people with like subjective truths. And I think that's why society is just cooked, because we're all tapped into this like online brain that like is just allowing such like rogue ideas and ways of thinking to just cross all over the world and just confuse people. I think like retrospectively, the internet was rolled out. I mean, maybe this was intentional, who knows? But like retrospectively, I think the internet was rolled out so irresponsibly. Maybe they just didn't realize, or maybe they did, and it's all part of the plan if we want to be absolute tinfoil lunatics, which some of us do, and that's okay. But yeah, retrospectively, if we were to release the internet again, I feel like it should probably be done differently. Should probably be used differently. Like, Yeah, it should be used differently. I don't really know. I don't really have an answer for how just yet, but I might have to think about that. The internet has become an externalized reflection of collective consciousness and unconscious to a degree. Yeah, it really has. But the thing is that like that is contributed, like people are contributing to that sort of network with such vastly different beliefs and approaches and ideas. And, you know, normally before the internet, all of our, like our ideology, our belief systems would be constructed by whatever can fit into our five senses with what the people that we can see around us, the people that we can hear speak around us, you know, and that's like that's a short field. Like literally like your hearing and eyesight proximity is your limitation. And, you know, when someone's speaking to us, we can see them talking. We can use, like, you know, we can hear their tone and we can kind of gauge if we're feeling like they're telling the truth or if we align with what they're saying. Now we're plugged into literally anywhere in the world. And not only are we now getting these like foreign concepts and foreign ideas filtered into our small proximity, but we also don't always have the ability, especially in the early days of the internet. We can't see who's saying it. We can't listen to the tone in their voice. It's just text. Or, you know, with podcasts now we're getting videos and stuff. It's a little bit different, but I'm more talking about when the internet was rolled out. And I also think that I think the dead internet theory is way realer than we probably want to admit. I mean, just go on X. Most people are bots. Some of them are real people who have grown up and they're organic, but they're bots, right? Because there's that many bots on X aggressively spouting their opinions. And then these people who can't think for themselves just literally get their mind warped into whatever the bots think, and now they are an organic bot. It's crazy. It is crazy out here. Have you gone down Steiner's Ahriman rabbit hole? I have not. Michael. Genuine experiences usually don't want attention or fame. Yeah, I would agree with that. YouTube is dying too with all of the ABS. I don't think YouTube's dying, bro. I don't think YouTube is dying. I think YouTube is the future of media and entertainment, and that is because it can be independent and real and authentic, and that is what resonates with people now. No one wants to watch the news or like anything that's like cut and edited and like feels presented with like sound bites and backing tracks. Like no one wants that shit because it doesn't feel real. It feels fake, and people have had enough of that. Suki's getting cozy. I think YouTube is definitely the future of independent voices. Absolutely, Rachel. That's why I started this channel. I was inspired to do this from lots of things, from lots of different people, lots of different creators. But yeah, but the common denominator between all of them is that they were all very authentic and like didn't edit their videos much. And it's just like, I found that I really resonated with people like that who, you know, still kept their ums and ahs in there sometimes. And it just felt like I was sitting in a room talking to a real person. And I was just like, I connect with this. Like this is the source for sure. Michael says, in my opinion, that's way closer to how archetypal demonic forces would actually manifest in the world. Not saying I co-sign it, but it's interesting. Yeah, it sounds interesting, man. It sounds like something I'll have to look into because, yeah, I've definitely been going down the whole, you know, demonic forces into, you know, manipulating things. So that is definitely on my radar. YouTube's become my main source of info, way better than mainstream media. Yep, you and me, you and I, and I think anyone like under 50. But to be clear, people older than 50 are on the ball. I know people older than 50 watch this channel. But just as like a general statement, I think the people who are still watching, you know, CNN, Sky News and shit like that, they're generally older. And I'm not saying they're dumb, like they're dumb because they're old. I'm saying, you know, they've like grown up with that. It would be hard to break away from that. You could imagine, right? Like when something's just been like your routine and that's just what it is for you, it would be hard to like detach for sure. Congrats on the milestone, Josh. Lots of hard work, my man. Thank you very much, Sean. Appreciate you. P.S. Josh, your channel has become my favorite. Thank you, Rachel. Lots of love in the chat tonight, guys. I appreciate it. We've nearly done 3 hours. We're at 250. It looks like the counter didn't reset with that little drop out there, which is good. I reckon we'll go to 3 hours. Why not? We'll do 3 hours for 30K. It makes sense. It makes sense to me. We are just the shoemakers and the SR-71 was built in the 1950s. That's very true, Kat. The SR-71 began being built in the 1950s, and we are apparently the shoe salesman of the cosmos, according to Bill Tompkins. The Steiner rabbit hole is very deep and complicated. Barely initiated myself. Super genius for sure. Yeah, I love listening to a complex mind, even if I don't always understand it. Or like, you know, you understand it enough in that you understand English, you know what they're saying. But when people are like explaining concepts to me that I have to like listen to a few times, or the concept goes in my brain like a seed, and then over the next 3 days, it's almost like that seed begins to sort of blossom and starts to, as you think about it more, it starts to make more sense. That's the source. We love that. First thing I ask people is if they have an inner monologue. If they don't, NPC and I don't deal with them. Hey, that's a good litmus test, Yoshi. I like that. Because that is, I mean, you know, I don't know if it is as black and white as that, but it is crazy to me that some people don't have an inner monologue. And it's crazy to me that some people can't picture things in their mind. I think that is something. I don't know if that's like, yeah, I don't know what that is, but that's crazy. 12-hour stream. I would love to do a 12-hour. I would love to do like a marathon stream one time. I just would need to plan it a bit more. I didn't expect to hit 30K today, to be honest. So this was super last minute. But I used to play video games for 16 hours straight, and I'm not kidding. So 12 hours ain't shit. I just got to prepare it. This is literally the first channel I check every day, starting my day with a 2-mile walk, and Polarity puts me in the right place for the day. Hell yeah, Sean. I love that. And good on you for starting your day with a 2-mile walk. That's some good stuff. Does talking to yourself count as inner dialogue, internal dialogue? In your mind. In your mind is internal dialogue. Internal dialogue, how I understand it, is like, you know, if I'm going to go do a task, I'm kind of like processing that task in words in my mind. And because I have ADHD, I'm also thinking about other things at the same time. Inner monologue is hard to nudge. I thought my daughter didn't, and after talking, it turned out she did. Congratulations on not having an NPC for a daughter. Imagination 100%. You plan what you're going to do. Yeah, exactly. It's like a little narrative running in your mind. I also have an outer monologue because I love the sound of my own voice. So they can't sing a song in their heads. I guess not. It's super, yeah, it's crazy. Things like that make me think that, like, obviously on the outside, we're all human. But we're so different visually. I think we're potentially that different internally as we are. You know what I mean? Like we have brains. We think, our thought structure is probably the same. You know, like our eyes take in data, it gets computed, and we then like turn it into thought and like act based on that. That's probably the same. But like, the way that thought happens is could be vastly different. I know that like this, like having ADHD, and I really see this now, like I understand it more. Like I think non-linearly. It's very hard for me to think linearly. Like to me, linear is like when people who wake up and they go like, time to go and brush my teeth, and they do that. Time to go and make breakfast, and they do that. Time to go and get dressed and get ready, and then they do that. I wake up and I'm like, all right, coffee, got to go brush my teeth, and I got breakfast, then I'll get dressed, and then I'll probably head to the gym, then I'll come back, then I'll do some work. Once I finish done that, might be able to walk the dog, and then after a while, I'm just like, holy fuck, I have so much to do today. I'm paralyzed, I can't do anything. That's what waking up is like for me. So, and obviously I'm conscious of it though, so I just try and like one thing at a time. But it's like I literally think about everything at the same time. It's very difficult, very annoying. Very annoying, actually. It's extremely frustrating. But like you just can't change it. It's like the way your mind is wired. And this is what I'm saying, going back 3 hours ago to the start of the stream, is that before I was diagnosed with ADHD, it was very clear that like other people don't think like that. Like I can just tell when I'm talking to them that you don't think that way because you're talking slowly and you're telling your story very slowly, and it's annoying. No, I have patience. I do. I'm a pretty patient person. I keep that stuff in. I think that probably wraps us up today. Should we give Suki one more treat? I think we should. I think we should wake her up for a treat. Suki. Oh, she must be snoozing. Oh, she's heard the packet. Oh, now we're up. Now we're up. Yeah, a little bit. Good girl. What a good girl. The best co-host I've ever had. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you for 30K. It's crazy. Like I said, I never expected things to grow this quickly. But here we are. Just got to keep my head down, keep the skin thick, and just keep rolling. Please subscribe to Polarity 2.0. It's clips, and I think we're going to do live streams over there where we just kind of hang out and chat shit. Because to be honest, that's the funnest part. That's what I love most. So guys, thank you. Be good, be kind, touch grass, and I'll see you all next time. Take care.
Eventually people are going to say, what the hell is going on?
No matter how far you go into the dark, when you flip, you go exactly the same place to the light in our galaxy. Everything. Because everything is in balance. Everything is a polarity.
I think it's just going to get weirder and weirder and weirder, and finally it's going to be so weird that people are going to have to talk about